down all of these heroes. Eye Blast coming in, but it's not going to land on the cores. The much-needed kills that are just not going to land. Look at Mickey. He's charging forward with a healing salve on him. Still got to be careful of Laurel, though, in this skinny little bridge. He will maybe get the kill. No, the splitter. He does have enough for a power shot, but I think he just has to focus on getting out. Maposhka's positioning, though, is going to be a big problem for Liquid. This Ice Vortex slowing him down. Laurel getting more damage on the way out. Relocate just to make sure that Nisha's going to be okay here, and a quick refill on the mana. But Team Spirit could set up on it.
I think you really want the IO out of this. I mean, there's still numbers up here is the problem. You just can't commit. You don't have the Tusk Punch. And that was an A ult that you really wanted to land if you were Team Spirit. Yeah. That comes in a few seconds sooner. You probably just guarantee get the Bloodseeker kill. You eliminate the IO heal. And that situation goes a lot better for you. I mean, this tag team focus fire is no joke, even with the level 1.
I almost wonder if it would have been better for Maposhka to hold on to that until he was in the off lane, so he had more of a direct shot instead of trying to fly it across the map.
He could have just like TP'd and thrown it really quick. He was also probably trying to get it bottom still. I want to make those land, as it'll be Battle Fury for Yatoro here on the Troll. So you do have some item build options with this hero. You can just go early BKB Sanjin Yasha, which is a build we saw on him for a while. There's like the Maelstrom Rush into a faster Mjolnir, and Battle Fury is definitely the greediest, but pays off the most in the late game. So Team Spirit gearing up for the scale, as they're going to probably want all 3 cores with a lot of net worth here. It's not a bad idea with this Darkseer. I don't think we've seen Darkseer lose a lot of late games. This hero's just a beast when he gets the Ags and the wall back, once BKBs are lower duration. Especially if you have a carry that you can help kite out with the Surge.
He doesn't have the best illusions to pick up away from Liquid, but I guess if he's still hitting the right kind of walls and vacuums to set up the AoE damage, then you're probably still winning that fight.
Yeah, it's about the Darkseer AA combination. Yeah, with a Tusk going in.
Clearing through the stacks. Team Spirit trying to take advantage of this. The Shackle Shot doesn't land, nor does the Ice Blast. And Insania, well, he's going to be chased down by the Focus Fire. He will die for this one, but you know Team Liquid wants to respond to this one. Zai's coming in. Can he get the bird drop? He does. Nicely played. It's going to be first Laurel, now Yatoro.
Yeah, Yatoro in no man's land.
Yeah, he's erupted up. There's no way out of this one. He joins in on a bad fight for Team Spirit, as it just comes down to that Shackle Shot.
That was a very deep go for this IO, especially considering their stacks here. You know Liquid are going to defend this area. You refuse to let Yatoro just run in here for free and get out.
Yeah.
Those bird stuns are going to guarantee you a TP cancel. So nice response from Liquid here. They do trade the tier 1 top versus the Darkseer, as Collapse will continue to ramp up here. Get that team fight online for Team Spirit. Give some double damage tree smacks.
Throw one more for the road.
Toro straight back at the bottom. Doesn't want to give up the safe lane tower. Doesn't want to go to the triangle yet without that Battle Fury.
Bloodstone complete, 12 minutes.
He is so big on the Leshrac, man. Look at the net worth. Just crazy. 110 CS already with 3-0 and 3. This is prime IO Lesh territory right here. And you're just going to start to run through these objectives and get onto the enemy side of the map. The second you start taking away the enemy camps with this IO Lesh, your net worth just skyrockets, especially if you can't fight the hero.
You're already playing against so many healers. Now with the Bloodstone on the Leshrac, the pressure just amps up even more for Maposhka to never waste an Ice Blast.
Yeah, you can't throw it on anybody else here unless you're in a situation where Nisha cannot get to that fight. You even have the mech already done on Insania. He's even got Lotuses to boot. A lot of healing to pump into this Lesh if you do not land that ult. You really have to be patient with it, hold it, and play the fights for your connection here. As
long wrap around.
Will not scout that smoke.
This is a great pickup because they already killed Yatoro once. If they, oh, the smoke is going to break. He's not going to make it out, though. Avalanche is going to land, and Yatoro, he's dead again.
Not even skilling ult, as he knows it is an absolute garbage ability.
Yeah, it's going to be a fruitless use of it, even if he could get it off.
Escapes the rupture here, and that reload will be wasted. I don't know. I don't think Team Spirit can take advantage of this reload, though. Set up for it on the other end.
Yeah, it does seem like Liquid just hold the parts of the map required, so not too much loss. In fact, they're still going to get Maposhka as well. Toss him over to Zai, a little bit alley-oop into the dunk of the Visage.
That's going to be one of the pieces here for Liquid. If they ever find the A first with a tiny toss or the birds and just force them out of the fight or force a bad ult, then it's something like, what is stopping this IO Lesh train from just running into you?
Yeah, I think that was the part that was interesting to me about some of the bans. They banned away the Beastmaster, banned away the Enigma, but in my mind, everyone had the Visage as one of the heroes for Liquid to be picked up, and I think that's the best hero to actually get on top of the Ancient Apparition out of those three, right? At some point in time, he's going to get an Aghanim Scepter, and he's going to be just hunting Miposhka.
Outside of the Lycan, yeah, I'd agree.
Sure.
I think Lycan
yeah,
just does it so much sooner. Like you can get on top of him at 8 minutes, he's gone.
Yeah.
But this Visage is a big threat in the late game. It's a big vision threat as well. We talked about vision a lot this series. There's not a lot of it on Team Spirit outside of this Darkseer pushing waves in to gain info.
They're going to run to die.
Connection. Shackle missed.
But the block out here at the Shard's going to do a lot. Resummons on the Familiars just to try and hit these stuns, and Insani gets a really big heal with the mech, and he's staying up on the high ground with the healing salve going in. They have to throw so much damage to finish off Zai, but they finally do kill him. Nisha is running low on mana. They have the Rupture on out. Still a lot of damage. Laurel, yeah, he's going to be chased down immediately. A Maelstrom proc. Nisha is still working with enough here to be able to get one more kill. Even a refill on his own bottle thanks to the shovel.
More gold into the Disco Pony's pocket as Nisha will clean up on top of his friend's corpse. They did get that refresh bird summon and they killed one of the birds. So that's pretty nice. You're going to take these off the map for a while. You were probably losing a tower here as
I can't believe you're sticking around like this. Oh, he's going to pay for it.
Lost back in range. I mean, Yatoro is showing up.
Now, he does manage to hit the Ice Blast before he dies here. Final Lightning will trade out him for Boxy.
That ended up being incredibly good for Spirit, actually. What a sick bait. I thought he was just throwing his life away, but it stalls up the push enough that this Glyph comes through, you save your tier 1 tower, and you get a kill for Yatoro. Battle Fury done. Not the fastest timing, but it's pretty good here for a Troll Warlord. Laurel continuing to look aggressively for kills here.
Yeah, the last time he did this, it did not work for them.
They have level 3 tag team now, though. So the points have come in for Mira. It was a lot of damage and disable they were lacking that now they have. Threatening to push on this high ground. I mean, your burst is pretty solid. Like we saw there, Zai dies pretty fast. It's just the heals that are preventing you from committing on these big targets.
Yeah, the fact that he has Solar Crest, he got double familiar stuns out, and then he got a mech heal and a healing salve, and it still wasn't enough. It does go to show that Team Spirit will always have the single target burst to kill these heroes. Oop, Boxy.
I'd like to see that Visage Shard later on in this game. It's a really nice tool here.
I think so too, yeah.
Lineup that wants to go in and kind of burst you off the combo. You just stall it up, you're in a pretty good position. High ground ward for Liquid, just sees everything here. Along with that
Ice Blast heading towards the rune here, but Mickey doesn't actually step for the power rune. He's running into so many heroes, but so is Liquid. They are going to catch one part of that sandwich. It's going to be Mira on the Tusk.
Team Spirit having trouble finding connections with this A ult in the early game.
Oh, he had to use a Rod of Atos on the Visage Familiar for fear of just a single stun, setting up for Nisha to run down.
The more this Leshrac gets to take off the map, the more it boosts up his team. You're gaining a lot of space on the map, you're farming a lot of camps, and it's pushing Laurel down as this Wind Ranger really needs to start finding the kills to keep up here. This Atos Shackle, they need to connect on top of Vortexes. Miposhka is having trouble maybe joining the fights with the amount of zone control that Liquid have. Like, you misstep a little bit, you're getting tossed, you're getting bird stunned. There's a BKB up for the Bloodseeker now as well. Very strong timing for Liquid. They want to try and get a fight or just force the Roshan, especially with the pipe on Zai. This pipe is going to block a huge amount of damage in these early fights before Team Spirit get the really big scaling items online.
Fast BKB, 3 minutes and 22 seconds faster, and a fast pipe as well. Team Liquid hitting big timings, faster than normal. Team Spirit, see whether or not they're able to contend with that. One part I love about this series and the way it's developing is that it's actually showcasing the win condition for both teams is what I think was their greatest strength. I think Team Liquid has always looked best when they're playing pretty fast, especially with Mickey playing, again, that kind of 1.5-2 position, heavy rotations from him. Whereas Team Spirit, I mean, they're just so good on the late game team fight execution. It seems like that might be the MO for this series. Team Liquid need to win fast and furious, while, you know, Team Spirit play off of Yatoro's great carry.
This is not a bad carry to bank on. He's done it before. He is a majority of their scale, unless that Wind Ranger can find the late game farm. I agree. If Liquid can find the pace in this series, it's going to do a lot for them. You just push the greediness from Spirit down a notch. and suddenly the pressure's on them to find these big team fight connections. When you have the Faceless Void, maybe you can do that. Here, this Troll is not going to be able to like drag you back from a large network deficit. It's just not the same type of function that the hero's going to provide. As Blast will scout this out, I don't think Liquid care. They're just going to pipe it up and run through it. And this Troll is just not a threat. He's not solo killing cores, he's not stalling out the game, he's not getting these lanes nearly as deep in as the Faceless Void was. BKB done for Yatoro, it'll be a BKB he just TP's bottom to farm with. And it's a fast Roshan for Liquid and Aegis for Nisha here. And the bots, Kaya, Leshrac.
Look at them.
He's thinking about that nihilism.
Team Spirit played a lot off of the Twin Gates when they held the map control, and they're expecting Liquid to do the same
nice
here.
setup.
They back away right as Liquid is going through the gate.
That could have been so good for them.
Imagine they just TP into a wall pre-set up and a vacuum to follow it up. But Boxy actually led the charge here. Gives Sai the all clear, and now they push through. They're gonna jump immediately, finding Maposhka. Great little pick off to start things. Will they get any more? Mickey is gonna push forward to try and help him out here, but Team Spirit have already backed away.
Look at how Liquid are playing the map. The three-man ball with the IO relocate that can come in and join those other skirmishers with the initiation. This is how you build a huge net worth lead with the IO type lineup, especially when Team Spirit are having trouble getting the lanes out. Just a bunch of birds running down some of these side lanes. Like the birds are top while the Visage is bottom, so Zai is just controlling both parts of the map right now.
And outside of the stadium here, we've got a little bit of a drone show going on dedicated to Dota 2 here in Riyadh. So,
damn,
inside and outside, Dota 2 action happening. Florida 14.
I don't know what that is, but it looks like.
Me neither.
Is it a turtle?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures
Maybe it's the new courier.
Maybe that's one of these teams' hopes and dreams floating away. We go deeper in this series. I don't know whose. That's what we're going to figure out here. As the pressure will ramp up from Liquid, they put this Diabolic Edict to work, and we'll take a quick tier 2. The birds on top of it. And a drum gone back here for Zai. I really like the drum on the Visage. I think it just amps up your damage so much in like the first 20 to 30 minutes. Once you take these really early fights, it's just gonna be a high ground push to force heroes back off the map. I don't know if Yatoro is really comfortable taking fights yet. It feels like the pace has just been everything in these first 3 games. Whoever's able to set it and get what they want in terms of the tempo has felt very comfortable. And so far in this game 3, it has been all Liquid. Not a massive lead, but they are definitely controlling a lot more on the map, getting more for their supports here, and 2 supports that can do a lot. In terms of
Yatoro with his BKB, he needs to be able to find a kill on the start of this fight, and he will have it. Visage is going to die before the relocate goes out from Insania. The Rupture, though, is going to do serious damage to Yatoro, and Nisha's going to play without potentially this IO. Beautiful Shackle Shot onto the Visage Familiar, plays against it, but he does have that Bloodstone, and a relocate away from the Ice Blast, but Mickey does die as he commits on in. Yatoro's healed back up, and they're going to try and play this out with the Leshrac, but Team Spirit have completely outfought them. They saved the Leshrac for last, and they'll finish him off on his second life with Liquid getting nothing out of that. Absolutely nothing.
You had momentum in this game. You had tempo. You had pace. And in a flash, it is all gone as Team Spirit sucked that net worth lead straight into their coffers here off of what was just a walk-up initiation from Yatoro. Takes the Rupture and just runs through it here. I mean, that is a ballsy play. I don't know if the Troll can really just tank that damage without Collapse coming in with a perfect pipe timing here to match what Zai was putting out. That reload dodges the AO, but it ends up kind of backfiring as you wanted the Leshrac damage going in on the Wind Ranger. They'll pick up Laurel off of a pretty damn good Sentry Ward here.
Yeah, this works out very nice for Liquid because they just lost a ton of momentum off that team fight. All of a sudden, a pick off on Laurel does give them a window. In fact, they almost find Mira, but he TPs away.
And the Gleipnir from this Wind Ranger is pretty impactful right now because you don't want to pop BKB on your Bloodseeker for this Gleipnir. There's no BKB on Nisha. He has opted for this Ags build. He is just trying to go fast Nihilism. It's going to make the Troll's life really difficult with the extra ethereal action he's going to have to pump a Nullifier into perhaps later. It looks like it's on the menu for Yatoro after a Satanic and after finishing S and Y. That is a lot of gold to push through here. But damn, did he put himself in a decent position off a single team fight. He collapsed this lead down, and that is the strength of Darkseer. That is why this hero got first pick for Team Spirit. They probably feel like they can win any team fight with this hero, especially the later this game goes. These walls and vacuums, especially with the vortex down, are just so damn hard to run.
Yutaro trying this one solo, but he knows the relocation is going to be there. Boxy's trying to get a toss away, but the BKB is actually going to hurt Mickey here, and Yutaro is just manning up. He's going for a crazy 1v5, but ultimately, he did get what he wanted out of that, which was Mickey's life.
I guess take him down with you here. As Yutaro, boss, dragging the enemy carry down with him in a 1v5 situation. Maybe Team Spirit, a little sad their trolls off the map for a longer time period. I mean, Yutaro was higher level here. And like you said, is the Bloodseeker the real carry in this game, or is it the Leshrac? Are you actually trading a 1-for-1 here? I feel like you are. I feel like the Leshrac is the boss of this game, even though that Bloodseeker is technically ahead of him. Be more push for Liquid as they try and regain portions of this map. The Birds doing the work.
I mean, the way that Mickey is building up, it does seem like he's just trying to be an anti-hero to the troll. I'm going to rupture you, and I'm going to Heaven's Halberd you. I'm going to let my Leshrac do the rest of the work.
Troll can fight through this if you get the late game with Blink and you just Blink start on a target, right? Then even if you rupture him, like we saw there, you're just perma-netting or bashing a guy. You don't have to run around in this rupture, particularly if you can start on the Bloodseeker or the Leshrac. Net worth for Yutaro is the key to Team Spirit's team fight here. Keeping him alive is a big deal. Getting the Wind Ranger to 5 or 6 slots, also a big deal. As, yeah, you are playing for a lot of prize money here. The
a lot of zeros.
Ramping up. It'll be an Ag's done for the Leshrac. So Nihilism, full option now for Nisha to try and kite these fights out. Provide some more frontline. Maybe not have this Bloodseeker be the first target of the Troll Warlord and this Tusk physical burst damage. Be a shard from here. Not a bad shard, to be honest. You lock someone in here, it gets really annoying really fast.
Yeah, and you need the max effectiveness out of that kind of catch and using your BKBs. Right, I mean, this is going to be a problem through the Rupture, through the Nihilism pickup now, through maybe the Stone Form on the Visage eventually. You got to get kills through your BKB direction. Otherwise, once those fade away, you're in some trouble, I think. It may even come to the point, do you think even though they have this great hard carry, well, great, quote unquote, in Troll.
I mean, Troll's a great carry.
I think the stats would disagree, but.
Well, he's only been played 3 times this tournament. And he has a 66% win rate.
Damn.
Those looking pretty good.
At least Yutoro's stats do disagree. Man's got like a 70+ win rate on this hero. I'm just concerned a bit about their late game of just like what happens after if you don't get a kill with a BKB. What does that team fight look like for you?
Well, might look better if you can land this blast. It'll clip Nisha. It's just too damn fast.
Yeah, he's already out. Actually, he's just full health, able to reset. Team Spirit, I don't really see how you play that without the Ice Blast, but we'll see.
I mean, they found a lot of farm on their supports in this game, right? The Tusk and the AA have really picked up the wave crushing here. You have an Aether Lens on the AA. I would not be surprised if Team Spirit try and itemize to help Yutaro in some of the terms you're talking about, like some Lotus Orbs, some Lincoln Spheres, just pump a single target reflection onto your Troll. Could be pretty nice here. There's not a huge amount that pops it. And we already have Collapse thinking about it. He's just going to go Lotus. That's going to be pretty nice for Yutaro. Like, you can buy a lot of utility for this Troll. Just turn him into a standalone beast. Make him such a threat with the late game nullifier that he can jump on whoever and you can't turn it back around. And that's a Lincoln's done for Laurel. Pretty damn nice for him in dealing with the Ruptures, but also something that could be thrown on somebody else.
Oh, Boxy, don't do it.
Goes in first.
He doesn't do it. He sticks around to block the Ancient camp.
This is Liquid trying to posture for this next Roshan.
Yeah.
That's what they really want in this game. An Aegis on either the Bloodseeker or the Leshrac, but probably the Leshrac, so he can just run in. Even if you ult him, he just comes back a second time. That's a way to deal with that. And Nisha's BKB is probably going to be the most important timing in a long time for Liquid in this game. At what point, we talked about when do you commit for this item on the Leshrac. It's going to come out, you know, after this Nihilism, maybe a little later than I thought. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a question of, do you get this second Roshan with that BKB, and how many fights do you get value out of it before it starts to get whittled down, and then you're just getting stuck in vortexes and shards and a vac wall and all this gunk that you have to run through.
Right.
If you can't run through it, you're not dealing damage with this hero. You might just get kited out. This Collapse will finish his Lotus Orb off the earlier disassembled Vit booster. That's another factor here. You reflect that rupture. Suddenly, Mickey is not having the impact he wants, as a smoke from Team Spirit will debilitate a Watcher. Team Liquid know they're here.
Team Spirit have had Team Liquid's number when it comes to the execution of a lot of the 5-on-5s, particularly when they're already set up. And this Roshan fight, it feels like this is the fight that breaks open the game one way or the other.
They're just going to TP out.
Actually give up the space.
Well, it's going to Radiant side.
Oh, yeah.
30 seconds.
They're going to have to go through the portal, see if Team Liquid's fast enough to get there before Spirit will.
The thing is, the lane is super deep down here, so Mickey had to go back to the tier 2 to shove it in. They don't want to play with this lane vision disadvantage right now.
Yeah, if Spirit's fast enough, they might actually be able to either catch Mickey or take the 4 versus 5.
Oh, they're gonna try and catch the Bloodseeker on the intercept. Is it fast enough? You have an Observer Ward, you do Maposhka. Does not see him as he gets in the trees. They see Boxy. That's a great target as well.
Boxy, yep, they're gonna jump in immediately. Try and burst him without using any sort of Berserker's Rage. Just keep him from a distance, and they got him.
That is a very nice pickoff. He does have buyback here. Liquid can commit. It's Radiant side. It's gonna take him a while to get back here. And Team Spirit gonna poke in, and that Lotus and Lincolns are being thrown on Yatoro, so you have to think about these ruptures.
The pipe now being on cooldown means Team Spirit. Yatoro feels confident. He's going to push forward. It's got a window where the Tiny is not here. He's going to try and go through the gate. Oh, this is dangerous. He's going to come back into instant damage. He may not be able to blink away. Boxy, if you do this, it could be a dieback. He keeps on baiting it. Is he ever going to go through? Oh my God, he's just going to keep him sitting there.
Yatoro's
going to go through, and Boxy doesn't realize it because the animation is on his own side. Oh no, he's got the Ogre Seal Totem though. He may have a chance to be able to get away. Yatoro chases after him, and Team Spirit. And now maybe they're the ones to get caught. Zai looped around, he's going for lore. Where's Yatoro? Yatoro, save us, please. Oh no, Team Spirit, they're already going to be run down. That's going to be 2 heroes dead, one of them with no buyback. That's dangerous. Ice Blast, it doesn't really clip. They immediately dodge away over to the side. Now a toss back up on Yatoro. Tried to go for the chainsaw, but no. Denied. Nihilism, though. The BKB, it gets kited out, and he knows it, too. He immediately just has to TP away and collapse. Oh, no. Yatoro, in his bold move of going through the portal to try and catch Boxy, will end in betrayal for the rest of Team Spirit.
The Boxy gate bait is just too damn juicy to refuse. Yatoro bites and hook, line, and sinker all of a sudden. Wait, guys, our carry's on the other side of the map.
Oh, no.
He did not think that one through entirely.
No, because if he wants that fast kill, then he would need to pop BKB for it. I don't know. I mean, that might have been worth it for a dieback on Tiny if you get it right away.
I mean, if Team Spirit play that sequence perfectly right, it's an okay play to make. They just need to back off with everybody else. I don't think they were thinking about it either. And then all of a sudden, you have to go back to the gate, pop an early BKB. By the time you're there, your whole team's dead. And a Roshan that Team Spirit were angling for will be taken away by Liquid without having to commit that Leshrac BKB. That feels really good for Nisha here, as he can maybe just postpone it even farther. Picks up a Shiva's guard.
Did Insania think there was going to be some sort of go there, or did they just want to
refreshing the resources here?
Okay.
That's a pretty low cooldown. No need to hold it. There'll also be a cheese on the IO, so you're technically looking at potentially 3 lives for this Leshrac. That is a lot for the troll to fight through here.
Yeah, how do you, you have to, it means you kind of have to hold your Ice Blast if you want to kill the Leshrac first in a fight. You have to kill him without Ice Blast, and then catch him on the second life. But even then, he could get relocated out, even if he doesn't get the heal, just being able to dodge damage.
I don't think you can go on the Lesh anymore. I think you have to take out the IO and the Tiny, maybe try and find the Bloodseeker, use the axes to blind the birds, buy you some time. Laurel's got to find a big target. Big shackles, help your team fight out. You can poke the Lesh like this. You have a nullifier now.
Ice Blast is going to be used here. Can they put enough damage to take away that Aegis? They're going to try. Oh, what a beautiful vacuum from Collapse. Now they do have the pipe. They're going to pop the Berserker's Rage and just try and lead into these heroes. BKB, can he get away? Where's the net? Oh, what beautiful charge. Insania comes in. It's the cheese. That's going to help him out. And then they turn back onto Yatoro, who gets a force staff away. He's okay for now.
Beautiful disengage.
Great stuff from Team Spirit. The improv earlier of Yatoro may not have been something Team Spirit was prepared for, but that fight they certainly were.
Man, supports with very clutch small plays. There's a high chance you lose Troll in that engagement, and you're just looking at a Rax for Team Liquid. Instead, the Shard catches the Bloodseeker enough that he doesn't dive deeper, and you get him out with a super fast force staff before the stuns come through. Miro and Maposhka protecting their carry here, and maybe putting Yatoro on their back as this troll struggles to commit into the fights, but they did find that Aegis, and they got the cheese out of the IO. So 2 of those 3 lives are gone. I would take that for a single BKB here.
They're gonna go for Laurel. Avalanche connects. He doesn't have BKB, so if they get the toss on him, great snowball save. That gives Laurel an opportunity to get out. It probably costs Mira his life. Ice Blast over the top of things is going to land on some heroes. They go for the relocate out. Insania interrupted by the vacuum. Really great play, but once again, Yatoro's unsure of where he can get in on Liquid.
He has no BKB. He does not want to commit 10 more seconds here. Otherwise, I think he for sure just goes on the IO. 6 seconds for that BKB. No AL that's going to wear off. It's not an opening, but they will bail their Wind Ranger out. This game continues to get stalled up. Liquid can't find that high ground push with the second Aegis, and it'll probably be going to a third here. So now it's a question of how do you build and scale up for that team fight. Zai is going to become a big threat as well, as he found a lot of farm off those fights. Full AC for the Visage. He can go into that Ags, he can go into a BKB shard of his own. Whatever he wants to just become an annoying frontliner, an annoying backline support sniper. A lot of options for him. And it's an opening that has pushed Collapse down as well. Like, Collapse wanted these team fights to go his way so he can continue to scale in this game. Has not found a lot here in the last 5 or 6 minutes. He's pretty much stuck on the same items we saw him stuck on that previous Roche fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Utility, name of the game. How do you buff up your cores who need to go in and man fight each other?
Got it. Like, the various abilities that Team Spirit are using to enable Yatoro really goes to show that this hero cannot operate alone. He definitely needs all that utility from the supports to have a successful fight, and even then, sometimes it doesn't prove to be enough.
You get Laurel to the 5 slots, then it's not as dependent on the troll, right? Then this Wind Ranger can start running in with the Ags Wind Run, causing some mischief. Maybe you land a 2-hero shackled, and suddenly the commit is way easier. Rupture on Mira should kill Mira.
That is the level 20 talent in play there, the extra Rupture range.
Putting on some moves.
Yeah, they have the thirst on him.
Yeah, he's just getting out of here.
I don't think if he gets a... Oh, yeah, he's got a little bit more heal thanks to the mech.
And that's a bird resummon that's going to probably get killed here.
Okay, so no birds for 60 seconds.
If you can kill them through the Graves Keeper.
Kill them. Yeah, Zai is really trying to keep them alive. They got one. Not too bad.
The big item for Spirit, though, is the Satanic on Yatoro. Like, he's still missing it, which means when he gets stuck in an ult that goes deep, that Battle Trance is a very double-edged sword. More often than not, you end up stabbing yourself. Yatoro has to be very selective, especially during this BKB nullifier duration. He's going to run into the Leshrac. This is a hard target to go on, especially
he's got
with
a haste rune with the Lincolns.
Instant reload from Insania.
Very, very careful.
Oh, this went off, and where it is, though? He's on the high ground, I think.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an awkward position. If he stays up on the high ground, maybe he's okay, but if he comes back on the low ground, which he does, easy kill.
And that was a gem. He did not drop the gem in base.
What?
Misstep here from Insania, as he could have just left it back home, but express delivery straight to Team Spirit. Decent swing.
I wonder if he thought he was going to be able to get away, but...
Yeah, maybe he thought they didn't see him there. However, Spirit, now they're just pushing high ground. No IO for 30. Yatoro feels confident enough to do this.
Oh yeah, Team Spirit have already shown that once they get that small little break in your discipline.
But this is first tiny toss. This is insane that he's doing this. He's baited out the jump.
He gets a force stat back away before they get the nullifier out, so they manage to get the tier 3 and get a buyback out of the IO.
That was actually an insane play by Yatoro. Like, the fact that you're going up there versus a tiny toss that can just lock you super deep in the base versus a Rupture, and you're basically just banking on the fact that Boxy's not there ready for it.
That your supports are going to hit you with the force stabs in the right time.
That tells you everything you need to know about this man. Absolutely fearless when it comes down to the clutch time, and he is pushing for that level 25 talent. Once more, Yatoro will lead the pack here in experience. It's a decent talent for the troll. Like, this strong Dispel, no joke. I wonder if you ever go for this other talent in a game where maybe you get that Pierce on a BKB Bloodseeker and you remove some of the hit chance. I rarely see it.
I'm not sure if, yeah, I feel like he's not going to care about the Bloodseeker's damage, particularly with the Satanic.
I think you just always take the strong dispel. Like, there's a chance you get tossed into some Hex later in this game.
Yeah.
You just need to be itemized and ready for it. As Nisha never went for this BKB on the Leshrac, he just went for the Lincolns. The greedier option, but the option that will scale harder here.
Yeah, he understands that his nihilism is only as strong as his Lincolns against the Nullifier.
And we still have yet to feel Laurel's impact in these fights in terms of the big shackles. That is always a factor. You land a 2-hero shackle, it's so much time for Yatoro to go in and just smack you.
Dire's middle barracks are
High
under
ground ward, they're
attack.
going to see Yatoro.
They're going to get the Rupture toss back. That's going to be a ton of damage into the Split Earth. But he got off the ultimate, he got off the BKB, got off the Satanic, and he's back up the full. And Mickey is stuck. A beautiful vacuum Ice Blast. Now they do still have that combo. Nisha is a problem a little bit here. They got to be able to focus down with Laurel while Yatoro resets. Nisha gets to relocate out. Perfect timing from Insania. But now without that, it's just an opportunity to run down more. Looks like Zai's going to be the first one. They're going to catch Boxy as well. Force Staff over the shards, but he's not going to make it very far. A snowball will hunt him down.
That reload went deeper on the map, by the way, but they just couldn't re-engage. It did not go to the fountain, so you're not healing this Leshrac up. A very clutch reload nonetheless. Otherwise, your Leshrac is 100% dead there. And as we'll have a pause to think about that team fight.
I mean, what a small window. I think that, was it just Nisha's Split Earth was just a tad little bit too late?
I think he got BKB right off when he landed. Either it was a little late or a little early. So we'll see in this replay. I mean, that is as good an opening as you get. Another reason you want that Troll 25 talent, as Yatoro almost gets tossed into a no buyback situation. Oh, just the mark. I mean, that's so hard to land, though, in his defense. That is incredibly hard to land because of the angle here on the high ground going down. And then this back into the Ice Blast is just sick from Collapse.
Yeah, you said the
gunks on the Bloodseeker, too. That's the dream. And then you just get to run them down. Man, once you're stuck in that Vortex wall, it's just so nasty. It's so hard to get out of. Your reload can only bail one of these cores, too. And a good Satanic timing for Yatoro as he immediately puts it to use here. Team Spirit strike back, re-even this game out, and are now looking at a Roshan that should be theirs if it spawns accordingly.
It will not spawn accordingly. Sadly for them, it is going to be 1 minute and 40 seconds until it's up. So Liquid will have their chance to contest that Roshan.
I mean, Yatoro shouldn't have used all his good luck up in that Faceless Void game with the bashes.
Yeah,
you gotta save some for the later rounds, my friend.
Yeah, might have got a little bit luck in that last fight. That toss actually kind of played against Liquid because they grouped up so badly, thinking that they had the instant kill on
100%.
the Troll.
They just all in for that kill, knowing it's an automatic team fight win if you get it.
Yeah.
The second you don't, that's also the last chance you're going to have to do that, because this is going to be Troll level 25 off that fight.
Yep.
You cannot start on him anymore.
Mirror's going to be more ready for it as well, right? Because he could also blink Snowball save, and then that's effectively the same thing.
You have to think about the Snowball saves versus Tiny. Like this Tiny Tusk 4-position battle, it's one we've seen a lot of times over a lot of TIs and big tournaments for a reason. They're two heroes that can start the fight very reliably on their terms. The Tiny has generally been stronger because of the displacement, but the Tusk save is no joke in some of these big late game battles. You buy time for a Rupture target, maybe you get another wind run off because you put Laurel into that Snowball, you reset the fight. You might just run out of damage on the side of Liquid between the Bloodseeker and the Leshrac, and Yatoro is starting to shred objectives here. Like you said, that Roshan is going to be a late spawn. Not happy about that one, as Liquid might have a chance to contest. They indeed will, as their heroes come back up, but they have lost a lot of map control. The lanes are going in, and Yatoro has farmed up his buyback in this game, something he did not have for that fight. That is why that toss into the stun was so pivotal there. That is a Troll who bought out, did not have the level 25 talent, and now he has both. He's just not a target you can go on anymore.
Yeah, now Liquid have to play a longer team fight, or they have to get the burst on somebody else. Either way, a Troll is going to be terrifying, because eventually he's going to get Swift Blink as well, and then he's going to be the one starting the fights.
The second he goes in, if there's a back that lands on 3 or 4, it feels like that fight is over, right? Unless you get out and reset it with a bunch of Force Staffs here. Your positioning on Liquid means everything. You have to space it properly. You have to be together enough that you can focus a target that gets tossed in, and also spread enough that you don't get punished on the counter initiation from Collapse. Not an easy task here, as they're going to run Nisha with a shield rune in. He is extremely tanky right now.
But if they could get the nullifier on him, it would be massive. Boxy tries to jump in, only hits an avalanche. The toss over is into Mira instead. They now try and disengage. Immediately a relocate backwards, but Yutoro didn't really use too much for it.
He's
Mira,
mean.
snowball over the side. They do manage to get the nullifier onto Leshurk. They're focusing him. The relocate is not going to come back in time. Now the vacuum into the wall catches the two supports. They do manage to get the relocate out. Oh, the Bloodseeker is pushed into this one with the nullifier on him. Buybacks raining in from Team Liquid, but once again, Team Spirit just looks so much better in these team fights, man. Nisha is playing for it with the nihilism. They have to win the second part of this team fight with a beautiful avalanche toss.
Whoa,
is he actually going to do this one? Yutoro dies. No way. Now a buyback opportunity for Team Spirit with a shackle shot launching them down. Nisha's got to go. Boxy's got to leave. They've got to get out of here because they can win one part of this fight, but the other part...
Shrek on his own, and he's a pig. No help in sight. It's just Boxy with one more combo, and he got canceled by Collapse.
He's got another nihilism. If he can wait out the nullifier, maybe he can turn. He's going to chase down Laurel. Now the nullifier goes out. He's going to go for the TP way off of this one. Collapse doesn't have a vacuum. They don't have anything to stop him.
No way Nisha gets out. I thought he was dead for sure. He got double shackled and a shard off that buyback. Your mid-racks almost died this entire time for Liquid. They somehow get an equal buyback out of Yutoro there, but of course he will be able to refill his pockets with an Aegis. As he pushes through that engagement, he shredded through them so damn fast. Double buyback out from Liquid off the Tiny and the Leshurk. Double buyback out from Team Spirit.
What are you doing here?
I mean, it's a nice bird attempt. That's about all it's going to yield. And this is an Aghanim Scepter Roshan. Who are you giving it to here?
Give it to Yutoro.
Yutoro really wants the extra stats and the axes. He does.
I mean, more dispel opportunities for Yutoro. Satanic BKB, now the Aghanim Scepter.
I mean, this Ag's troll now dispels the Ethereal on the Lesh, right? This is a big deal in this game. They're also throwing a lot of buffs on him. This is an influential troll Ags. And I mean, the shards from Mira have just been disgusting in these fights.
Oh, yeah.
Like the extra shard distance really helping out. And somehow they are able to turn this with a 4-man avalanche toss into the Pulse Nova. Cannot stand there long as Yutoro feels the pain. The reloads from Insania have also been on point this game. Like, it is worth mentioning, right? He got Mickey out of there initially. It's really disjoining the target prioritization from Team Spirit and elongating these fights.
I mean, I wouldn't say entirely on point. Sometimes he's been a little bit jumpy on it. As soon as something happens, he uses the relocate.
But the thing is, if you don't use it instantly, that target is gone. Like, you saw how fast Nisha died there. It's under 2 seconds. You do not have enough time. You pretty much have to decide instantly when the first point of contact latches, are you reloading that hero out, are you not? It's a very difficult call to make. I mean, you are right. He has not been there every time. It's just so damn fast, the burst damage out from Team Spirit right now.
Oh, Mickey. The smoke is going to break. He's going to blink away in time. He blinks over the side, but he can't get far enough back into his base. He pops a BKB, but he is caught in a corner. Oh, no, 85 seconds now. A dieback for Team Liquid. The first of potentially many, as they do not have many heroes left.
And Nisha was thinking about running down this mid lane, but it's a catapult wave, so he probably couldn't have killed it that fast and opts not to risk it here.
Excuse me, it wasn't a dieback. He just doesn't have
he just doesn't have the gold, so it's 70 seconds, no Bloodseeker. Yutoro, you know this man is going to push it right now. Aegis for 3 minutes, Satanic Ags and level 25 Talon. How do you bring him down? It has to be a tiny toss in deep.
But how do they do the tiny toss? Oh, instant sight! They were ready for that one.
And
not today, Boxy. Pull them back in with the Ice Blast vacuum.
Nisha,
the team fight Maestros do it again. A dieback on Nisha. Should be the end of the game now as Team Spirit. 5, 6, 7 lives on them, 2 remaining on the side of Liquid. There's no chance, no hope at all. Team Spirit will just run over them. Liquid trying to play for a fountain at this point in time, but they know it's over. GG is called. Now Team Spirit, 1 game away from claiming yet another finals.
This is where the pressure is really on if you are Liquid. You are going up against one of the most clutch teams of all time in a high-pressure tournament, in a grand final that you have been denied a first place in 4, 5, what is it, gonna be maybe 6 times in a row now. If you are gonna bounce back, this is the time to do it. As Team Spirit have ramped up the pressure, and that troll pick, we were talking about the downsides of this hero.
the struggles this hero can have, the kiting potential, the ruptures, the toss, none of it matters to Yatoro Boss as he just runs in with the utility and a very clutch hex at the end by Collapse. Not today, my friend Boxy. You are not getting the toss back to try and stall and salvage this game. Everything for Team Spirit coming together in these fights. The shards, the snowballs, the punches, the vortexes. This team Spirit is just beautiful, man.
Too many answers. Too many answers for this game 3 will be too many answers for this series. Let's head back to the panel.
Team Spirit at match points, they take this game, and it was kind of like we thought. Team Liquid, yes, they had the early game, but once it got to the late game, once Team Spirit gets those team fights that they want, we can see the perfect synergy of spells come out from them. And it is a rough one for Team Liquid as they are now with their backs against the ropes. Time to analyze how they got to be in this position. And for that, I've got BSJ, I got Effie, and I got Crit in the panel. Hey, Crit, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, we didn't do too well in this tournament, but it's nice to be able to enjoy some good Dota still.
It has been some great Dota being played here, especially in this grand finals. What do you feel about this game that we just watched?
I think it's very interesting for a lot of reasons. I think Spirit is doing something that a lot of teams didn't really have the bravery to do this tournament. They first faced the AA, and even though they had some problems in the early game, I still think it has so much value against the IO Lash, and it just showed that it's worth it, you know, even if it has some downsides.
And not only the courage to run this AA throughout the tournament, but to pick an unseen hero in this Tuskar for such a long time. And of course, the last pick Troll, who is a hero that a lot of people don't have faith in. And I mean, you can't talk about this team without talking about Yatoro. I don't know how he consistently pulls off these carry performances when everything looks so dark and grim for this team. They find a way to fight. There was that beautiful fight in their jungle where they managed to kill the Visage first with their burst damage from the Focus Fire and the Troll. I mean, the tag team and the Troll, and somehow that was the turning point for the game. I just don't know how they pulled it off. That was incredible.
Yeah, I feel like every team has, you know, their strategies, what they've been relying on all tournament, and nobody had really cracked like the recipe, the code for Team Liquid. And when I'm watching these games, I feel like Team Spirit's finally got like all the ingredients that they understand. Like they knew Zai was going to pick a Summons hero on last pick, and Troll's good against all these heroes. So goes like, ask Yatoro, you know exactly what they're going to pick. Name one of your 40 heroes that you play. Which one of these is good against Visage? And it just feels like when we're here on panel, Liquid's draft is predictable and Team Spirit's is not at all. So that's just crazy that this late in the tournament, you could have a team that's just whipping out specific strategies against another team that I feel like that's more something Liquid does in terms of hero versatility. But yeah, I mean, this is what it takes for Team Spirit to win. And I wonder what Liquid, like how they feel right now.
Yeah, because we talked about they could go two ways within this game. Either they go early or they go try to be able to go toe-to-toe with Team Spirit late game Crit. And I felt like they kind of didn't make a choice, and that is a choice, making a choice as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that Brian also said is that I think Team Spirit has been very good at running multiple different styles this tournament. I think especially the last series they played in the upper bracket against Liquid in the game 3 where they just put the tempo on from the start, didn't make a single mistake the whole game. And they're also able to play this where they pick A and Darkster, and they just do what they feel is right against what they play against. And I think Liquid in the first game had a really good idea. They came in with this Naga. I think it was really ballsy from them to just come in and play something that they never played before. And I think they kind of have to get back into that and have that confidence to do something that's going to throw Spirit off.
Yeah, the confidence is going to be the key factor here because they won with their Iolash in game 1 and Spirit just beat it. And they won with their Naga in that same game and Spirit beat it in game 2. So it feels like some of their comfortable strategies Spirit are showing that they can adapt to very quickly. So I hope that Liquid find some way to mentally recuperate from this because watching that game play out, it felt like Liquid's game to lose. They had the lead for the entire game. And even the fight that they lost, it felt like Spirit had no business winning that fight in the jungle, but they did it somehow.
They did it indeed. For our STC play analysis, we have a clip prepared for you guys, and there were a lot of great fights. going the way of Team Spirit, especially in combination with the AA Blast when that hit. Team Liquid did not really have a shot, but the one we chose to look at was one fairly early on in the game, because up until this point, Brian, it was Team Liquid that was dictating the pace of the game.
Yeah, that's how it feels against Team Spirit every single game, though. No matter how much you're ahead, whether it's 30K against the likes of BB Team or 7K in this case, so like one good team fight where you slip up, you're a bit out of position. We heard Saberlight in this draft analysis saying the team that has pace, in this case Liquid, the other team, Team Spirit, is relying on you to mess up, and Team Spirit's going to make you play perfectly for 45, 50 minutes in order to take a game off of them. And this is the one time they get caught out of position with their pants. Now they have Aegis. Like, looks like all the cards are in their favor. And you can just see Team Spirit, like, it's not only is it that they win the fight, it's technically 6-0, completely flipping this game upside down.
Yeah, it's showing that doesn't matter what you want to do in this game. You need to have an answer for these team fights. I mean, what would you do, Crit? Would you just avoid the team fights? Would you draft more for team fights? Because this is like a big thing for Team Liquid right now to think about as well.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think it's hard because I think most of it is when it comes to the draft. I think Spirits, like Brian also said with the troll pick, they kind of knew what was coming already. So this last pick Visage is not like a gotcha or anything. It's predictable, and I really think Liquid has to do something to throw them off, and I think that's the first step. Then second off, they just have to plan their timings a little bit more clean in this fight that turned around the game. Sai got caught first. Yes, the pipe. So when the pipe is dead, like, it's just an easy fight for Spirit. So there's a couple of steps. I think they have the tools to do it. They just have to make it work.
Yeah, there's one thing, at least, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for Team Liquid, but between Game 3 and Game 4 of a best of 5, we always have a little bit of a longer break. So I don't know, is that a better thing, Brian? Would you like to talk about things longer? Or would you be able to just go next because we have a new plan?
I think for Liquid, it'll be good. I think Team Spirit has all the confidence they need, and I wouldn't say they're drafting reactionarily, but they are adjusting their picks very specifically towards what Team Liquid's drafting. So back to the drawing board for Team Liquid. I do think this little bit longer break goes in their favor.
I feel watching this game play out, and the last one as well, the best route that Liquid can take versus Spirit is to just shut down Yatoro, make his game as difficult as possible, because he has been the anchor in these last few games. He's been the player bringing them back, and maybe if they place some emphasis on their offlane, getting a really perfect pick for Zai and making sure that he can pop off, Game 4 will swing in their favor.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I think they had a good idea in the first game. Also, kudos to Spirit for just doing it again in Game 2 and just realizing from the first game what they had to change and still running the Void Edge and just having the courage to just be like, okay, we lost a game, but we know what to change to make it work. So I think it's a hard job for Liquid, but I do think the break is going to come in handy for them, especially if Blitz can make it worth it, because it is a lot about how you take the break, because it can also be damaging if you're just sitting there and it's kind of like a bad mood. You have to kind of pick it up. And I think if they can do that, then it can be good for them.
Yeah, this is where the years of experience come into play, with being able to recover from series, from games, mid-series especially. And there are a lot of years of experience on the side of Team Liquid and the side of Team Spirit, both. Some have even been playing Dota for a decade or something like that. Of course, it is July in 2023, and the official anniversary of Dota 2 is this month, a 10-year anniversary, actually. And to celebrate that, Riyadh Masters put something special together for you.
They're gonna cut from the shorter path. They storm up the river. Patience from Zoe. Waiting in the wing. Navi's about to be caught. Oh, there's the sleep. He catches everyone. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Thank you, man. Ravage on everyone. The black hole as well. Light of heaven turns it around. Ravage as well. Stolen by Denny. Are you kidding me? They turn it around. Throne's low. Throne's almost dead. Not yet. Cylon will fall. Liquid are doing it. They're gonna take it. And Palma is on his feet.
Nice for it. Cancel TP. He's no. He canceled the TP. Puppy, he's not good. Cancel Sandy's TP as well.
They're gonna do it.
They're gonna do it. Alliance wins. VI3.
I just have one thing to say here. This will be explosive.
What the?
It's not that easy to snuff.
A new journey is about to begin.
Could you imagine all those years ago coming to this?
Oh my god, I can't believe this. I can't believe what we're seeing in this game 4.
Check it to go. He's on the high ground.
He's stuck up on the high ground with the skewer back too. Oh, collapsed into him again.
Coming for your face. Whoa, win. Oh my goodness.
Goosebumps, goosebumps. Happy anniversary, everyone. Whew. You doing okay, Ryan?
I don't know, man. There's just something about Dota. We've talked about it on panel. It's our lives. And that's like watching your life, you know, for the last 10 years. That's what it feels like.
I see teary eyes. No.
Don't call me out. How do you feel?
No, it's you.
I'm not
Not
going
me.
out.
It's not me.
I will say though, the one part that gave me visceral pain was the ho ho ha ha watching the
That was my
sniper
favorite
troll
part.
corner the lion. I was like, poor lion, get out of there.
That was gorgeous, Crit.
That was special. Like Brian said, for a lot of us, our life the last 12 years. So yeah, that was very special.
Yeah, I told you guys, I prepared that I was going to ask this question. I'm going to still do it because that way I don't have to talk this long. What's your favorite moment? Decade of Dota, 12 years of Dota, 13 years of Dota. Like, obviously before Dota 2, there was the Dota, the original Dota. Brian, favorite moment within Dota?
Like favorite, like within the game itself, right?
Yeah, I know, because otherwise you're going to say something about me to you guys.
Yeah. I mean, you stole it from me. I mean, I'd say like specifically it would be the TI8 game 4 where I was supposed to do the after show, and so I was walking over already because OG was down by like 20k gold.
Yeah.
And like I get a phone call saying, it's not over, you gotta run back. And then I run back to see this crazy ass comeback, and then they end up winning the whole thing. So it's just memories like that where you can't script these kind of stories.
For me, I would say probably the TI6 Wings run is my favorite Dota moment because, I mean, that was when I was studying in America, college. Like, I never thought that I would be able to attend something like that. It was just like some kind of fantastical idea, and it was my first ever TI that I attended. I remember I set up a donation goal, and people helped me get there, and it was just goosebumps watching Wings dominate throughout it all. It was just an incredible moment with the crowd, and probably my favorite Dota memory still to this day.
Yeah, for me that was my first TI. TI6, not so memorable, but I think for me the major just before in Manila was amazing for me. It's definitely one of the best moments in my life, so I think that has to take the prize. Obviously a lot of stuff, even in Dota 1, like doing 10-man lands in Denmark, you know, just a lot of good memories.
A lot of good memories with an amazing game. I'm going to share mine as well because obviously there's been a lot of memories. I loved every second of Dream Leagues, which I've been a part of forever. If I have to choose the one singular moment, it would be at TI2. Yeah, they're storming up the river. I was there. It was my first Dota event ever. I was in the crowd. It was magic. Goosebumps every time, and there's so many amazing clips of that out there. So thank you, Riyadh Masters, for putting that together as well. And I think that there are so many little things in that video. You guys at home should probably watch that back, because you can find so many winks to little things in Dota history that have happened over the years that they're good. Go find them all. I challenge you hereby. Whew. Speaking of a brilliant Dota being played, we're in the middle of the grand finals here, of course, at Riyadh Masters, and we are moments away from a fourth game where Team Spirit is, well, 2 games up, yes, because if they were 3 games up, they would have won already. 2 games up here. It's 2-1, and that means Team Spirit is on match point. And we are gonna try to discuss how Team Liquid is gonna make a comeback here, because we all want to have, you know, the full 5 games. Obviously, we all just want good Dota, so as long as this 4th game is gonna be hyper competitive, I think we're all gonna be happy. But 5 games, Brian, that's the dream, that's the magic, right? So we all know you've got some ties to Team Liquid. What are you gonna tell the boys?
Well, that's a
not
fantastic
good
question. I'll be honest, like, this is where Blitz shines and why I'm on the panel and he's up there. I would say, simply put, that, like, there's something about this team that always gets them to this point. Why are they always here? They're in a good way, right? Why are they always in the finals? And something about, I have to believe there's a mental blocker within this team of actually finishing off a tournament. So I would probably give a little bit of a pep talk that's completely not Dota gameplay related, and that's something that Blitz is going to be giving them almost.
Yeah, and you're going to assume that they would have already prepped more than the Naga strat, so they can just
I assume they've already discussed it, and now that they've had that 20-25 minute break that we've all just had, that this is the time to, like, get everybody mentally psyched up, because even though you're down 2-1, this is the time to shine, not the time to falter. So
yeah, you agree, Effie?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every team environment is different, and I mean, the only people who have the correct answer to, like, what do you tell them, how do you raise them up, are the people within the team and the coach. So, but I know that Liquid are such a family-oriented type of team. They're all such close friends, and they do have faith in each other. So hopefully they can just, you know, relax, eat some food, and Blitz will carry them with his motivational speeches and his, as Jenkins would say, big muscles or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think somewhat along the lines with both of you guys. I hope they had, like, a good idea about the draft already, and then for William just to be able to sit down and be like, yo, this is what we're doing strategically, and then on top of that just add, like, a mental note to everyone and just, like, be able to play their game, you know, because that's what he's good at. He's good at making everybody feel at ease, so I think that's the biggest thing for him.
Well, let's also focus our attention a little bit on Team Spirit as they are here at match point. This is a team that I remember during the group stages, at some point we're like, well, you know, we're talking about how Gaming Gladiators wasn't doing too well in the group, so that's what you focus on. And you got Team Liquid that was doing okay, and, you know, there were other teams that were like outliers, performing not necessarily to expectation. Then Team Spirit is just casually flying, seemingly under the radar. I don't know how that was from a player perspective, because for us, it's like, you know, they're just there and we know they're good, but they're not at the top of the list either.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference for me is that they've always been a good team at every tournament this year, but they've always been very limited in terms of what type of style they'll play. And I think in this tournament, especially the last couple of series, they added a lot. They added the Ench, like they prioritized the Ench, which is a huge thing for them because they're not a team that usually plays Su, and Ench is really good against Su. And then they also play Beastmaster on Collapse. They play Lycan on Collapse, which is stuff that before, like, you would never see them do this. And I think them adding that on top of what they already had in terms of being a team fight team and like a late game team, that just made them a lot more complete. Yeah, I think that's what's causing Liquid issues now, and also in the upper bracket final, that they have a lot of stuff that they have to think about. And I think, yeah, I think Spirit just looks solid. Like, they look like a really good team, a hard team to beat. Like, you can see why they won TI when they play like this.
Yeah, it does feel like they just leveled up in the middle of the tournament, and we're gonna find out if they can close it out here. Of course, this is a team that was already in the grand finals of Riyadh Masters last year around against PSG LGD, and at that point they were not able to get a game, but it did warm them up nicely for the major that followed after that in Arlington. They were able to take first place that, but ever since, the struggling, the suffering, the not so great results, Effie, they've just continued.
Yeah, for a lot of Spirit fans, it feels like they might have peaked a little bit after TI-10, and they caught people off guard. And there was like a point in time where I would say they were just mediocre. You know, they weren't exceptionally good, they weren't bad, they were always contenders. But the thing about this team is on the main stage, they do transform. They just become something else. They're so hungry, they're so determined, and they have so much grit. Like, they thrive in this kind of environment, and we're really seeing it. We're really seeing that they can play against all odds. They can play under pressure. They make these incredible comebacks. You can never count them out. Playing against them is so exhausting, as Faithion said. Even if you have a 20k, 30k net worth lead against them, you're so tired. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how they're going to find their way back. But
I mean, they were at some point 10k behind the previous game. They went high ground anyway. So net worth is not meaning that much in the hands of Team Spirit, Brian. I know you had a whole bit at some point as well when they were playing against BB Team. They were just going for it, behind or not.
Yeah, I mean, they were, in that series specifically, in their 2 wins, they were ahead in net worth for 15 seconds between the 2 of the games. But that's a summary of Team Spirit. I remember at the end of the group stage of this tournament, their last game, which solidified them the upper bracket, they got mega creeped by 9 Pandas at 35 minutes and proceeded to win the game at 55 minutes. So like that, this has been their story throughout the entire course of the tournament. And I think one of the scariest like descriptions I could give to a team would be, I never know if they're for sure going to lose or not. And there's not very many teams that you can say that about. And it just feels like it's so easy in Dota to get frustrated and to have like, you overcompensate when you're losing, you try to force plays, and that is something I have never seen from Team Spirit. Like, they keep their composure throughout the entire course of the game. They're looking for very specific openings, and they are just waiting for you to give it to them.
How has it felt for you, Crit, playing against them? Like, how would you describe Team Spirit?
Yeah, I think what Brian said is very true. They're super composed. Like, they never falter, even if they're under pressure. Like, their team fighting is always on point. And I think it's just so much practice for them. Like, they've always been a team that valued team fight, and now they're just the best at it. And yeah, I think they just look so confident every time they play. It never falters. And they start with the end share, which I think is good, because Liquid banned out the Naga, which is also a Su response. So Spirit probably wondering a little bit if there's going to be some early Su or some Void, something that they're, yeah, Void is there as well. But I think Spirit probably didn't want to first pick the Void. So I think the Ench is a little bit more of a first pick Void would have been wild, but the Ench is solid cover for them.
And the Beastmaster that's been in contention for the last few games made it through this phase. Liquid default to their Zai Broodmother. I think this is probably one of the best responses you can do in an elimination game. Just pick a hero that you're confident on, a hero that can carry you, one of your players' most comfortable strategies, and they do it here.
Yeah, there's so much like rock, paper, scissors going on with like Team Spirit's threatening Void. Team Spirit doesn't want to pick Void into a summons hero, so they pick Enchantress to block the Lycan and the Beast. So now Liquid picks the summons hero that doesn't get screwed over by Enchantress, because you can only enchant one unit, and Broodmother has a bunch of them. And now it's most likely going to be Yatro's hero coming out on aid, and Liquid's thinking, okay, is it going to be TB? Is it going to be a Monkey King? Like, what is going to be their, you know, Broodmother counter of choice? What 4 position best covers that? I mean, like, the mind games right here. This is the cool part about a best of 5 and why it's not only we want more Dota, but further you go into the drafting, these teams have been, you know, 5-heading each other back and forth, and you end up with this, like, what, minute and a half they're spending on Team Liquid for this opening duo?
Yeah, there's still the question. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Eternal here on 8. There's still the question of Beastmaster. There's still the question of Timbersaw. They could have so many different approaches here on Spirit for this 8 pick.
It's true.
I like this clock pick actually from Liquid, because I was thinking what you said about the Brood being good against Ench. It's true, but it's also the heroes that Brood wants on his lane, like the range 4s, are not really good against Ench. So I like this response from Liquid, picking up clock, which is good against Ench. And it's also support that can go either lane. So they still have the option later on to pick a different hero for Boxy if they really wanted to. And they don't really pick a hero that's bad into Ench. So I think it's good.
It's also good against like Beast Timber offlaners, right? So yeah, it makes sense why they thought for so long and then why they came to this conclusion.
Yeah, because I think usually you would pick a range 4, but they decided like they don't want to pick a bad hero into Ench.
And they go for the Beastmaster, yeah. I understand why they do it. They've defaulted to their Beastmaster opening so many times. Usually it's paired with the Lion, because Lion is a hero that deters from a lot of the carries that counter Beastmaster on lane. But I think this is probably one of the best things that they can do right now, because there is no Naga. They can get away with this. They have the tempo with this Enchantress. They can take down these towers. They can reverse the map pressure of the Brood by playing the opposite side and establishing their own points to hold and fight into.
I never thought... Oh, go ahead.
I think it's interesting that they ended up picking the Beast instead of picking the lane response to Brood here, because there's now going to be 3 more bans to the Brood going towards Yotoro. And they get to respond to the Beast themselves. So I think it gave them I kind of like this opening from Liquid. It's different than the IO-less, it's different than the Naga. You know, it's something that they've played before that they're comfortable with, but it's new in the series. And I think they got away with it. I don't know if this Beast is something that they're super worried about. Like Brian said, Clock is pretty good against Beast. And they get a core response as well. So I think it's looking pretty good for Liquid in the start of this draft.
Yeah, the thing that I'm laughing about is I never thought I'd say this in this tournament, but I think Team Liquid has to worry about a Bristleback coming out from Yatoro later on in the draft. It's always been good against all the summons offlaners. They ran it with the Beastmaster against BB teams, so I also love that they banned Slark on the side of Team Liquid, because they lost to GG with like a timing-based push lineup with lack of stuns when Duraccio was playing Slark, and then they also lost to Yatoro in the upper bracket final game 3 with him playing Slark. So you can tell that these teams have experienced all the ways to lose with their core strategies.
That's a great point you make about the Beast and the Bristleback, because it was played very successfully into the Brood, but it also opens up the Coddle pick, right? They didn't just play the Bristleback by itself. They had the Coddle Bristle combination, which also enabled a Spirit hero for Laurel. And we haven't really seen any of the Spirit heroes come out yet. So you can also have the Coddle plus Spirit hero combination.
Yeah, they're all available. So like you said, if they want Coddle Ember, Coddle Storm, one of them's going to be there.
That's a Crystal Maiden ban. Is it just against the Beastmaster to keep the boar alive?
Yeah, I think it's for both for the Ench and for the Beastmaster, and I think also because they have Clockwork already. CM Clockwork's pretty good support though that can connect pretty easily. So I think just a ban that covers the summon heroes.
Okay. Also, Insania on his Crystal Maiden has had so many impacts in the games we've seen him play it. It hasn't come out this tournament very often, if not at all. Not that I can recall watching, but at Dream Leagues, he was doing insane plays, like winning the safe lane, going through the gates, ganking the opposing lane, going mid and securing runes. Like, he has so much impact on it, and to see this respect come out on these grand finals in a tournament where they haven't run it means that Spirit really have done their research.
It looks like they ran it a couple of times. They have 1 loss on it. They also have a win on it. So they did play this tournament too. So it's definitely something that they wouldn't mind pulling out.
The best way to deal with Beast, in my opinion, is as a carry player, if I don't kill this guy, or at least threaten to kill him once or twice in the first 6 or 7 minutes, then my tower is going down, and then my mid tower is going down a few minutes later. So having the duo support plus like a Mickey, Drow Ranger, Monkey King is definitely the best, like, ideal way to remove Beastmaster's timing from the equation. And whether this hero gets like a Helm of the Overlord at like 16, 17 minutes compared to like 22, 23, it just changes everything about the game. And Team Spirit, even in all their times where they came back against BB Team, Collapse was having relatively decent games, and his pressure on the map also would get them Roches when they were losing. So and I think it's really important that a Team Liquid hyper focuses on shutting this Beastmaster down.
Yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, I feel like Beastmaster is one of the heroes in this patch who can recover regardless of most lanes, because he has 2 builds to play on, which is either playing for kills on lane with the boar or tempo, or just maxing your axes and clearing ancient stacks. But I wonder if Spirit Breaker is an option at all for Team Spirit Crit, because they did play against BB Team's Brood, I believe. Oh, it was 9 Pandas Brood, and they ran a Spirit Breaker plus Storm combo versus the Bruno there.
Yeah, I would just worry about the clockwork because I think traditionally clock is a support that likes to play into Spirit Breaker. So if it wasn't for that, then maybe. I think now you know the clockwork is going to be 4. Most likely it's going to be Insania Lich on the safe lane, so maybe it's more likely now. I think it's just the lane with Beastmaster will be pretty weak. It would require them to pick some range core that can go with the Spirit Breaker to the safe lane and then put the Ench with the Beast, but...
So
Wait, that hero's still in the pool?
We forgot about that one.
Well.
I like Snapfire versus Clockwork just because you can cookie your allies out of the cogs, you can also cookie yourself, and this can be Laurel's hero from the mid lane since they don't have second pick and they won't be able to counter the opposing mid hero, so it looks pretty solid.
It could also be a mirror hero, because it is quite good against Clock, like support matchup, and Lich it's okay too, you know. So Beast Snap is a strong lane, but I think most likely it's probably going to be Laurel. It seems to be the default that it goes mid. But this does keep it open now that they pick a Taurus hero. Like they can put it 4 slow if they want to with the last pick.
Drow Ranger, baby, for my boy Mickey.
It's a good Drow game, yeah. I agree.
Would you pick it now, or would you?
I think
I
you
think they
will
would
not
have
get
to.
it last.
They would
Okay.
have to pick it now, yeah. I think so
Alright.
too.
10 seconds.
But the Spirit came out in the first phase crit. Do you think Spirit have addressed it at all, or that they still need to do something? And if so, what can they do for this Brood?
I think this TB is their response. I'm not sure if the snap is mid. I think they might have some issues with dealing with the Brood early on, unless Mira has some hero that can, like a Spirit Breaker that can provide some cover. But there's the Drows that Brian was talking about. I think they will have some issues with killing the Brood right now, but I think they can deal with it in terms of like Snapfire can go there, kill the Broodlings, and stall the pressure. And then I think TB has a good lane against Brood, especially if it's a Brood clock. So
10 seconds remaining.
All right. So what boxes do we need ticking from the final positions here? It looks like for Team Liquid, they've got overall last pick, so they're looking for their mid hero, but they don't have to choose one until they know for sure if it's snap mid or if it's something else mid, depending on if the snap is core or not. On the side of Team Spirit, I think we're going to assume at the moment that the snap is a core, and that would mean that they're looking for Miposhka last.
Mirror or Miposhka. I think Miposhka is more likely to play Ench.
Okay.
But it is an option for them to put it offlane, like they did put it as 4 like they did earlier in the series.
Yeah.
It's pretty good against Lich and Drow, so I can see it happening. I just think Miposhka is a really good Ench, and I think they want him to be on that hero. So I think it's more likely that they're going to pick a Mirror hero.
And we did see Mira talking a lot there, so that would be likely. Which hero would you like to see from Mira?
I think there's going to be some Lion in contest, but it might get banned. It's probably the clearest hero for them. It's very solid. They need some initiator in some way that can like set up the fights for them. Lion seems to be the best one of the 4 heroes in this patch.
Even versus Brood and Club?
I think so. I think it doesn't really matter too much for like what he's playing against. It's more about what he needs to do for his team.
Do you think the snap flex to 4 is still open for Spirit?
I think so. I think it just depends what options there are for mid, because they need the same thing from a mid hero that they would need from a 4, like some hero that can open the fights, and I don't know how many options there are for them.
There's Ember Spirit still,
There's Ember,
potentially.
yeah. I think they might be a bit worried about the counter picks for Ember, because Nisha is a player that will counter you pretty hard on lane if you pick Ember Spirit, so I think that's probably their worry, and that's also why I think they will probably put the Snapfire mid, because she doesn't have as many counters as some of these initiator mids.
Do you ever consider for Team Liquid, like, if they go Ember, right? Do you go like Lone Druid? For instance?
I think they will.
Do they like triple down on this push?
I think
both teams have a lot.
They'll go Lone Druid, or they'll do some Meepo, you know, like they will do some hard counter to Ember. I think that's what they should do if they're in this spot. Like they need to put the pressure on from the laning stage at this point. Like it's game 4, they're down 2-1. I think they should go hard.
There's heroes that get prioritized much more highly throughout the course of the tournament and kind of get forgotten about. We see the snap coming out in the second round. I feel like it's a really good Timber game for Team Liquid as well. Like I don't think Team Spirit can really deal with this at all in the mid game. So
they banned Bad Rider, so that could be the case. Yeah, that they have something planned like that.
Also respecting the flex, but didn't Liquid play some Drow Ranger plus DK combination yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
I feel like that could still be an option for Liquid too, but it's going to depend on Spirit's pick that comes out here.
DK's rough against TB specifically, just because the illusion reflection gives all the bonuses that DK gets when he ults. But it would be a good tempo thing for sure if they wanted to amp up that. Like, but I feel like against Team Spirit, they've proven time and time again, even if you have tempo, unless the lead snowballs so astronomically that the game's over, that they will make it drawn out. So I really lean towards like the late game matchups if they're looking at Nisha's hero.
Yeah, it becomes a bit harder now that he has to pick into Snap. I think the SD is an okay option. I don't really think SD is that good against Drow, personally. But obviously go with Terrorblade, solid save. Like it's a good scaling for, and I think it's just like a solid lane as well for them. They end up going with the Ember instead.
Isn't that a bad matchup against Snap?
It is a bad matchup for the lane, but it's one of those matchups where if you bring the supports, Snap can never really kill the Ember. Like when Ember gets 6, like he will be annoying for Snap. And then when Snap gets 8 toes and it keeps going like that, the timings will
I
change.
also think in terms of individual player level, Nisha does outlane Laurel often, and if anyone's going to play a bad Ember matchup, it is going to be him. I like what this Ember provides in terms of jumping this Shadow Demon with the Clockwork in the backline, and if the Shadow Demon is out of the fight, that Terrorblade is very susceptible to dying. I did favor Spirit's draft the last 2 games, but I think Liquid's draft in this one just ticks every box for me.
Yeah, I think for me, this is a really good Drow game. He has really good heroes for himself. He has Ember, Clock, Brute that will all go in for him, giving vision. So I think it's all on Mikke to perform in this game. I think he has the tools to win the game for them.
I'm a little bit concerned about like the Enchantress roaming pressure on mid lane with the Snapfire Laurel having an advantage in the matchup, but if we saw anything like last game, we might see just a bit of a mid diff with Nisha just being able to come out of the lane much better than he is, or than he should. If Nisha does do that, I heavily favor Team Liquid. Otherwise, like if mid lane becomes a problem, I would go for Spirit.
Okay. Seems like my panel is tentatively setting up for that Game 5 here in this Grand Finals. But let's see if Liquid has the upper hand here, or if maybe Team Spirit is going to take it all home here at Riyadh Masters. But first, though, heading over to Jenkins, who is able to talk to Blitz right now.
Pretty good. Still pretty happy.
So this is where you come into your specialty. You guys have backs up against the wall. You're Coach Blitz. You're the gym guy. You're the motivational guy. What did you say to your team during the break?
I just told them to keep their heads up. I think everything that we've done is amazing, truly. I think it's too much of a focus on like if we win this event and stuff like that. And you know, for me, I think it's just a cool thing to repeatedly get to finals, show that consistency, show that we're a top team. Like I'll live, and if we won this, life would go on. And if we lost it, there's another thing to play, and life would go on. And so I just told them, enjoy the moment. It's not very often that you get to play for this kind of stakes in front of this kind of crowd. So, just enjoy yourself.
All right. Well, very motivational, Blitz. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And now we're going to go to our motivational casters. That is Avery and Kat.
From the humble beginnings of a custom map inside another game over 20 years ago to one of the biggest and best esports in the world, the culmination of the community's love and passion has led to a truly beautiful game. Now, the teams will find their decade of work and dedication culminates in this finals of a championship. Team Liquid versus Team Spirit. Both teams have put in the time and the effort to be here, but it all just comes down to 1 or 2 moments to make history and to claim a championship.
How many hours and how many pubs are you willing to commit to try and get a first place here? I mean, we heard in some of these interviews across the tournament, right? I go to Yatoro. Over 10 years ago, he started playing this game at 14, and that has been the story for a lot of professional players over that span. It's a lot that goes into these single moments, like you said, that get decided by a coin flip sometimes, by a razor edge. That's the beauty of this game. That's why it is so romantic. It's because it is everything that happens before you get to this one chance to be the best in the world that makes it so unique. And Liquid, you are back on the precipice, as once more you might be denied that first place. You have no more wiggle room, but you do have a first blood on the Drow Ranger, and that is some momentum to gain back from that Game 3 loss.
They're going to need every advantage they can get in this Game 4 to come back in this series. Otherwise, it is going to be Team Spirit claiming the championship. Team Liquid do not want to let that happen again, man. It has happened far too many times to them this year to watch yet another Grand Finals slip through their fingers.
Hey, if you're Team Spirit, you were here before as well, and it slipped away from you. So one of these teams is going to get redemption, and the other will meet a familiar fate. And they have put their hopes and dreams into two very prominent and terrorizing carries. Toro Terrorblade. That is a scary premonition. And then you have the Mickey Drow Ranger with a good matchup here and should be a good laning phase. He's going to scale really hard in this game. It's another one of those close late games that might come down to some Snapfire. Divine Rapiers could come down to some Brood Ratting. There's a lot that can go down in this ultra late as both teams, in my opinion, have geared up for it. You have the Beast and the Brood who can, in theory, create some tempo here. But so far, these games have gone the distance, and it'll maybe come down to some lane execution here as Liquid trying to pull ahead has been favorable for them the entire series. So far, with that first blood, it's not looking too bad. Zai getting beat up a bit on the early laning phase from this reflection. We saw the panel talk about the answer to the Brood. I don't think the catch for the Brood is that good in this game, outside of maybe the Beastmaster later on. You don't have a Spear Breaker. The Shadow Demon pick was pretty defensive.
But if they can win the lane, which they will get the early kill, granted it's not first blood, but even being able to stop Boxy's attempt at a hard camp pull, it's going to be Team Spirit starting off great in this safe lane.
No, that is a kill you will gladly take every time because it's so much experience for your Terrorblade and your Enchantress who are going to use it so well and just ramp up the pressure. And you really want the early game to go well for the Terrorblade in this Brood matchup because if he gets to his items later, he's going to be a beast. If the Brood takes away his camps and limits his farm, that is where Zai can start to pull ahead and scale himself. So that is a great start for the Team Spirit safe lane here. As well as Laurel doing pretty good mid with that Snapfire. That is a hero that has been difficult to counterpick the entire tournament. You go for a last pick Ember, knowing this lane's going to be tough, but Nisha will pay it back in that mid game. So you just kind of have to push through it. You just got to deal with the fact that Laurel will have a very strong early game as he continues to pummel Nisha with a dodge.
Dodges the Scatter Blast. That's an important bit of momentum in a melee versus ranged hero matchup, mid on mid.
And the interesting thing about this game here is that I do think Liquid went more for what do those fights look like, right? Like this Lich Clockwork, it can be really strong in those mid-game fights. You have initiation power, you have follow-up with a lot of AoE, Frost Shield, the Chain Frost. It's a lot you can just pour in as Mickey will find Collapse on his own, just chasing down the hero.
Dude, Mickey has been so aggressive when it comes to harassing both of these heroes, killing boars. They might just get a second kill off this, but even if they don't, the damage has already been done. The Shadow Demon has been pushed back over and over and over again.
Yeah, both these carries dominating their lane so far. A second kill for Mickey. There's going to be so many early stats into this Drow Ranger. You also are getting the Lotus because you're pushing the lane into the Beast, so it's extra mana regen for this Lich who has a salve still left. I mean, this is a very abusable lane. The Shadow Demon pick, it's a little greedy. Like, it'll pay off later when you can purge the Frost Armor, help Yatoro take the fights with a save and extra illusions. But right now in the lane, Collapse is not feeling it.
But it's also not a hero that can help you close the gap, right? Because you have a range 4 position. It just means one less hero to be able to get on top of the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the Shadow Demon because I think there were options that helped them solve some of the problems they had in this game. But it is a hero they're very comfortable with and one that can help out the carry matchup later.
Well, they can get the kill onto Mickey here, but it's looking good. Yeah, the axes and the Shadow Points just builds up a bit too much. Insania, the Rocket Flare comes in to be able to finish off Mira, which may actually save Insania's life as he is going to be chased down. Collapse underneath the tower. He gets the kill first, so they don't get any experience for the Beastmaster kill.
That's really nice for Collapse. He gets all the XP plus his helm plus a free trip to base here. And he's going to laugh his way all the way to the bank. And his Boxy did collect that with the Rocket Flare. Pretty nice for him. Yeah. Level 2 Rocket Flare.
Which means
the
faster level 3, which is so important for the Clockwork. I mean, there's a big difference in the threat of Battery Assault that does 20 damage a hit versus the 45 at level 2.
And the boots. Boots are a big deal in that hero.
True.
The downside with this Clock pick is Clock Brood is not really a thing. Like, you can have a Lion Brood, you can have a Hoodwink Brood, you can have a Grimstroke Brood. You know, Clock Brood is, I guess, your Battery Assaulting into a Silken Boa. You know, it's just not there. So Boxy, he's probably gonna have to find his momentum elsewhere. Maybe gate rotation into bottom and you just run down the Beastmaster. That looks the most promising to me. Like, okay, sure, maybe your Brood doesn't get as much as I would want at the start of this game versus a very tough lane in Enchantress Terrorblade. If you can gank the Beastmaster, put him in a similar position, and accelerate your Drow Ranger off more kills, that's the payoff in this support duo for me from Liquid. I think the mid gank maybe is there, but I also think it's pretty ambitious if the Snapfire is winning the lane, which she is right now.
A lot of last hits there for Mickey, but it's going to put him in a bad position with the kisses raining in. He will be caught.
Oh, nice rotation from Laurel. Did not expect him to just instantly TP there with the ult.
Yeah.
Finds the Drow Ranger connection. Really nice for Collapse as he will have a free lane and more experience. Maposhka battling Boxy.
Boxy not gonna die. He is okay tanking up some Ancients there. 6-minute power rune goes the way of Nisha, so he'll have a regen to be able to work with.
I like this positioning from Maposhka though. Whenever you can get into this side of the map with the Enchantress, you just feel like a god because you're gonna get a big creep, you're gonna steal it away from that camp, maybe mess with his stack, and then you have rotation potential to top or to mid here. It is something Nisha has to think about. With an enchant purging his shield or slowing him down.
The brawl continues in this bottom lane as they chase down the Shadow Demon.
No mercy on these side lanes right now as both carries are ramping it up. Yatoro did not find the Brood with his second meta, but he did find tower pressure, and they're looking for Zai right now. Yeah, he got the D-ward. I mean, hashtag worth, I guess. As Zai is getting forced off the lane here. Just doesn't have the lane partner in the clock, but they'll rotate the Lich.
Yeah, I mean, with the extra bit of magic damage from the Lich, it might be enough. Zai's gonna try and bait it out, and now's the turnaround. Oh, but Yutoro's a little bit too far back, so instead they turn for Maposhka. He needs to get on top of him with the lifesteal. Zai wants as much life back. He is going to get a kill, and he'll be able to play the lane, at least for a little bit.
This is where Liquid's lineup can strike really fast. This double support roam, it's something they've used before. They traditionally use it with the Crystal Maiden, but the Lich is pretty much straight back up there. It will enable Boxy on these melee 4s. I expect the double roam to continue as the Wisdom Runes get split here. Really just ramp up the XP for your two supports and enter that mid game with your team fight fully online. Whereas for Team Spirit, you're kind of happy just farming 3 lanes with your cores. You get a couple rotations out from Laurel, pretty much all you're looking for.
Another Scatter Blast dodge there. As Nisha, he's been putting a lot of pressure on Laurel. He's trying to kick him out of lane so he can actually take that tower with the Orb of Corrosion as quick as possible. And he's going at it again.
There's a boar here. That's a pretty nice boar rotation.
Yeah, it actually helps out quite a bit. Nisha, he does have that defensive remnant, so not too much to worry about
and
here.
They cut the supports off in the river.
Oh, the Sunder turnaround. Zai, he's trying to crawl back to the defense of the trees, but it will not happen. Meanwhile, Insania is going to be caught on the power rune as well. Nisha will be able to get the power rune, though. On the other side, it didn't actually spawn bottom.
Nice double damage he'll pick up, but Liquid are bleeding on the map. That Sunder, not something Zai expected early here. And another surprise rotation from Collapse. We've seen him rotate really early on these Zoo heroes, and they have paid off every time.
Look at this fast smoke from them. They get the immediate pressure onto mid, and then boom, right back to going for Mickey here, which he is going to be found, but not killed. Mira has to dive in a bit too deep for this one because of the rotation of Insania. They give up.
They do get to cut the wave, and the Helmet Dom is done on Collapse here, so you can start to ramp up the tower pressure if you do find these core kill connections. And meanwhile, the supports from Liquid just getting split on the map. It's not where they're strong when the Clock and the Lich are isolated. That enchant making its presence felt here on the Ember.
Nisha's not quitting. He has the vision. He has another slide, a couple more of those, and he might just be able to get this kill on Laurel, which would help even up the odds here in the side lanes. Nice use of the Remnant to get the kill. Boxy, with a small assist, will be able to limp away and into his Tranquil Boots.
Nisha is exerting so much pressure in this matchup, just running him down with Flame Guard.
Here's that Mickey rotation through the gate, right on time to catch out Yutoro at this point in time. You have to be aware that that kill from behind is always going to be there. Every single one of these games, Mickey is trying this.
Liquid are getting way more value out of these gates right now. There's just no vision on it. None of these Hawks, none of these wards have been scouting these rotations, and it's paid off for Liquid every time. As kills are the name of the game, they drag their cores back into a decent position after Team Spirit pulled ahead in the CS department, and no Sunder to turn around that play. As Laurel will go bottom off the TP, looking for the return play on Mickey, but there's an observer here.
Oh yeah, they know the Ancients are being done. Nisha, he's gonna play and try and grab a good amount of this with the slights. Gets a little bit.
I mean, these Radiant observers are doing work right now on the map. They're just seeing everything that Team Spirit want to do.
Team Spirit are trying to sandwich them. Laurel doesn't quite get there in time, though, but the Ancients, the rest of them, will be claimed by Collapse as a result. And maybe they could get Boxy. Boxy going to turn around some decent damage with the Chain Frost, bouncing back over to the Enchantress. If he can land on the Laurel, they can get this kill, and Boxy can get out, and that's exactly what happens.
Some pretty nice bounces in the end.
Oh, look at Zai. He's just immediately, okay, we killed the mid laner. Finally, let's take this mid tower away from them.
This is pretty surprising that the first tower to go down is this mid one and not top. Zai's had issues forcing Yatoro off that wave. He stood up there been pretty strong and continue to find a lot of farm. Level 8.5, top of the board here. Surprised at how well this Terrorblade was able to stand against the Brood with potential gank rotations. They only really caught him that one time. That's going to be a nice tower to take away here. Something we've seen Liquid prioritize whenever they have this Ember Spirit, just going to Nisha mid with that Orbital Corrosion, taking the tower down, and free up the power room control to go to work. And it'll be a quick smoke to bottom. Utilize this Drow's really high level off some of the earlier kills and shut down Collapse again. He has no boots. It's a very slow hero.
Yeah, the dangerous part is once you've taken that, Burge is going to be used on Nisha, so this is going to be a little bit dangerous for him. Boxy immediately TPs out and does manage to get away. Team Spirit somehow limit any losses there, despite a 4-man gank and a wraparound from behind. Thanks to Nose. Yeah.
Making his presence felt in these early fights. He wants to put this meta to use with the Beast Aura. It is not up yet, but you have the Helmet of the Dom Aura. You can push these buildings pretty fast between these two heroes. You're also pressuring mid right now.
Cookie
off a Cookie Tormentor with the Hadouken.
Oh, he gets the silence on him. Maposhka has to finish him off now and will be able to do so. Insania shows up, but can't really do much. Meanwhile, back over on that river spot. Boxy tried to hit him with the hook shot. With the help of Zai, they will be able to punish Laurel for this play onto Mickey.
Team Spirit's still feeling really good about this. They get that tier 1 bottom, they get pressure on mid, and they take the Drow Ranger out off that TP with Midas off cooldown for Mickey right now as he bought out for it. The extra economic damage. Haste rune in the river that Maposhka will grab. This is a big rune to take away from the Ember Spirit, who's had full rune control, as Nisha is just struggling with some Boars bottom instead. A difficult point of interaction for him right now, as these Boars are just not easy for Liquid to clear unless they bring the Drow Ranger in, or you're just like throwing a Chain Frost into the fight. These
Hurricane back in.
Strong.
Oh, never mind. Collapse. Doesn't have Primal Rory up, so no real threat there.
This Helmet of the Overlord is going to be strong. It's going to be really strong in the fight. It's going to tank up a lot of the damage that the Lich throws in. You can counteract some of the auras that the Brood might be bringing later with your own pace. In fact, Zai is not even going for the auras. He is just going for scale, as this might be one of those Echo Saber BKB Butterfly Brood games, and you just try and fight the Terrorblade or the Snapfire running in.
It does always seem like Team Liquid's part of their game plan is scaling on multiple heroes to try and contest Yatoro. I mean, they answer it in this game, Terrorblade with the Drow Ranger, but even then they say that's not enough. We need the Broodmother to be able to fight him too.
I think the tempo just didn't work out in that game 3, and it kind of killed the idea of it.
Yeah.
This is not a draft really designed to run you over. Even though it has the Brood in it, they're not really playing this Brood or designed it for a fast game at like 25, 30 minute or a high ground. This is, we're just going to scale, we're going to meet you there, we're going to outfight you in the late game. That's a tough call.
Even when you just saying that kind of makes me laugh. We're going to outfight you, Team Spirit.
Yeah, it is.
TI winners.
I mean, I commend the audacity here, if you want to call it that. Not many teams have ever accomplished this task in these types of situations.
See if they can blow up the Shadow Demon real quick, pull him. Oh, not quite enough. The disruptions. He's going to come back and he's going to die, but it is time. Laurel, the Chain Frost fortunately doesn't bounce back to him again. The kiss is going to be used here. Boxy goes for a desperate TP out. That's not going to work. The Amber Spirit jumps away to the Remnant.
Got the last 2 hits.
Sania, it's going to be a long run for him, but I think he's okay.
Troll Summoner without a net.
Yeah. Quick, raise the dead on him.
Quick, go back 4 patches and snare him. I don't think Insania's having much fun though.
No, he's like, I'm getting out of here.
Aha, I've caught you. Fall him through the gate. That's the chat. No, he wants to farm. I mean, too much time wasted for Collapse, you're right. He's a man of the people.
Look
a
at
man
Mickey,
of the neutrals.
Mickey's playing on the enemy side of this river. It's a very dangerous position to be in as a Drow Ranger.
The Midas will eventually help them scale as well, right? They are for sure just thinking about going late here and outranging the Terrorblade. And so far, they're getting what they want out of the map. I mean, Yatoro's huge, but Laurel really fell behind with all that mid-skirmishing. 4 deaths on the Snapfire. That will slow down your pace here. And it's a question of, can Team Spirit pick up the pace with Helm of the Overlord completed for Collapse? Pretty decent timing here. He's got a lot of ancient stacks. He's cleared through them all. He rushed this over boots or any sort of early fighting item. Now it's time to put that to use. You really want to get these fights. Combining the Beastmaster and the Terrorblade are where Team Spirit are strong.
Another hookshot land from Boxy. Catches Mira again. I mean, you talk about Laurel having a rough one. Mira is also going to be run over by the Clockwork Broodmother Ember Spirit combination of heroes that can just get on top of the backline immediately.
This is where the support duo can really pick up the pace on the map, especially with Zai combining to all these fights right now. He's just going second item Lincolns. Very interesting early defensive pickup. There's not a lot of single target spells, I guess, is his idea. If you block one of these ults, it's decent value. You can also throw it on your Ember or your Drow. Should be good for most of the game versus the Sunder and the Roar.
Yeah, the only catch for him is Purge as well as... Yeah, this is a big move from Yatoro, and it's going to result in a kill onto Mickey. Great stuff, as long as he can get out, which it looks pretty free.
This guy is just so damn good. Like, what other carry player is going to be in your triangle at 15 minutes ganking you?
Seriously.
With a Terrorblade.
And I think another thing that I really like about Yatoro, probably one of the best players in the world when it comes to itemization on carries. Another jump on, and Mira just doesn't stop, man. This nightmare continues for him as Boxy has his number constantly. They might cost Boxy his life, or Insania rather, as Insania is the one targeted by the big bad army of the Beastmaster.
The Lizard will take him out. He'll get his revenge in the end, and they're worth about the same here as the summons all get cleared out. And Yatoro is happy with all this. He's just getting to clear through heroes, through camps, and he will rush a Scotty second here. So no Manta, no early BKB, just gonna tank up and probably commit for the Roche with the Scotty timing.
Got him on the Rod of Atos with the cookie follow-up. Oh, the damage is close, but he gets off the slight. He doesn't have a way to get a Remnant out. Too low on mana.
Where did all his mana go? The earlier fight as Alara will catch up of taking this Ember Spirit's life. The first death for Nisha, but an impactful one, as it's a Boots of Travel Snapfire that gets to clean it up and instantly join another lane shove on the other side of the map.
Going for Zai.
It's going to pick up the pressure on the map with this Boots of Travel plus all these Boars and Hawks.
You can't afford back-to-back pickoffs like this.
Atos.
Rod of Atos into the cookie, into the Primal Roar will ensure a second core kill for Team Spirit. Maybe Mira dies to the spiders. He's going to try and pop the... Oh, that's a smart move. Uses the smoke. No hero to dispel that. Clever move, Mira.
Nothing is free in a grand final here, as that is well worth it. That was a lot of gold if you can claim that hero from the grave. We're going to get chained up. He did get that Arcane Rune, though, so he's very happy about stealing some of these power runes away from Nisha. Like, these were his to get with that early tier 1 mid going down. That's your benefit of that extra map control. And man, has Yatoro pushed in these waves aggressively. It's constantly forcing someone back this part of the map, which, you know, Mickey's here, but he also got ganked here earlier. So you're not sure where the vision is right now if you're Team Liquid in terms of, is Yatoro playing off what he sees, or is Yatoro just an absolute boss? It doesn't care.
Yatoro God. He's coming for me. He's coming for me.
No, it's just like such a terrifying game, honestly. Yatoro God on a Terrorblade. He's just ganking you.
And I think his itemization is going to be pretty interesting, because we saw his Faceless Void Aghanim Scepter pickup. I mean, that paid off really well against the Naga Siren. What does he do in this matchup, Terrorblade versus Drow Ranger? Like, when is he going to get that blink?
Yeah, early Swift Blink could be interesting. The Hurricane Pike could also be interesting, which looks like what he's going for here. Silver Edge could also... Like, there's a lot of interesting pseudo gap close items that might let him get in deep. Yep. You can also just play for Roshans with Aegis and try and go early high ground here, right? Force Liquid into a position where they have to respond with heroes that don't like coming back to the base in the Brood and the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, when you have so much momentum with a Beastmaster, this is beginning to look a little bit like a Beastmaster Dusa lineup that could hit your high ground at 20 minutes.
This is a scary push lineup. You have an Alpha Wolf in here from the Enchantress, Double Boar, Black Dragon, plus Max Inner Beast up for Collapse, and of course you can create some extra Shadow Demon Illusions. Little Shredder going to give you the minus armor. There's a lot aligning right now for Team Spirit. They don't want the Roche, they want your base.
Now they do have to go through Frost Shield. That is a big way to stall it up, and you've got Aghanim Scepter done on Drow Ranger. So unless they're getting a big pick-off, I think that idea of early high ground is now gone out the window.
Again, they're happy to bring Team Liquid back, though.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you get this Drow in base, it's a pretty slow hero on the map. You just have to run back out to your triangle. It feels awkward. Maybe you're missing some little Midas cooldowns. I think Team Spirit are happy with that push. They'll back off, farm the whole map. Of course, Terrorblade and the Boots of Travel Snapfire not going to lose too much when they commit here and instantly go back to the other side. This will prompt a smoke from Liquid as they want to get something done with this Drow Ranger Ags.
This smoke may be read by the fact that the Terrorblade illusion stayed out in the bottom lane for so long. Nobody's showing on that part.
And that's where Team Spirit want to play, for this Radiant Roche. I mean, their wards are all down here. 4 obs committed. from Team Spirit just to cover this Radiant jungle into the Roshan pit, and they will claim it here. Scotty Helm of the Overlord at 20 minutes. That is a difficult 5-on-5 fight with the heroes that Liquid have, who, I mean, it's only really the Ember going in deep. Kisses for some spiders mid.
Yeah, just trying to stop this tier 2 from dying. And it might have been just enough. Let's see if Liquid want to keep committing. They do take it.
Well, that was kind of rude that Nisha took the last hit after Zai did all the work.
That's kind of true.
It's a classic mid player. You know, Zai's here. He's sweating so hard in all these matches, clutching out victories, drafting for him, shot calling for him. He's the veteran on the team. This young guy just comes in and steals your last hit.
No respect.
There is no respect these days.
No respect for legacy. Another hook shot onto another support. Maposhka is going to get out of the cogs this time. Boxy, kind of an awkward position around the trees there with no follow-up from a core, so he wasn't super confident about it.
This feels like a game where Team Spirit are getting to do what they want to do. Though I do think Liquid's chances in the late game are a lot better, right?
Yes.
I think last time if that game went ultra late, it's just impossible at a certain point. Here, you have a lot more potential in the bank, especially with this Drow pick. This hero's always very spicy late game. It's one of those carries where it almost doesn't matter what you play against. Like, there's nothing that really scales against Drow outside of some of these uber cheese picks, and even then...
Oh, broke through the Lincolns and got him with the Purge. Can Zai get to the trees? No, he can't. Boxy, he's just throwing his life in there. Anything to protect Zai, but the Frost Shield, it's going to be enough. Boxy, you are going to pay the price, but you done good, son.
I died to one poison stat. That's kind of embarrassing.
Boxy, what'd you die to? Oh, you know. Just,
He knows what he died to there. Tanked the whole damn gank for his brood.
Attacked 24 damage.
See, Boxy respects legacy right there. That's a
BKB for Laurel, challenging Mickey. And all he has to do is stall up Mickey long enough for his team to get here.
Point blank kisses, just shotgun him down. That'll be a 5th death for the Drow Ranger here. It doesn't feel like 5, but it really has been. And it's a lot of time off the map for a hero that really needs as many items as it can get to get over that threshold to push you into the late game. Because you might be looking at that next Roshan going high ground.
Roshan to the Aegis hero, that's going to be difficult. They want to see if they can take away this Aegis without having to overcommit, but an early Sunder from Yutoro pretty much kills that idea unless you get some amazing Chain Frost with Nisha joining in. They're going to do some decent damage, but he gets a Force Staff away. No lucky bounces on that Chain Frost.
Yutoro just stands there and goes, "You don't hookshot me, son. I hookshot you." Takes Boxy's life.
It doesn't make any sense.
Nothing about this man makes sense. He has risen above the mortal plane in this game. As Team Spirit continue to rout Liquid on this map right now and accumulate a huge chunk of gold onto their cores.
Shout out to all the beautiful Dota fans joining us here in Riyadh. The middle of this game for 7,000 net worth lead for Team Spirit, a 15-13 kill lead, and it feels like all the momentum in the world, but they still have to, in a grand finals, crack open a high ground TB versus Drow Ranger with a lot of spam behind it. There's a Lich that makes things difficult. There's the Ember Spirit slight spam that is going to be annoying.
There's a Glacier potential.
Oh my god.
I mean, you laugh. That thing is no joke in a high ground situation where you don't have a lot of gap close. it's not insignificant here.
I swear to God.
Yutoro looking for a shield rune. He
Whoa! Okay, he's just really trying to make sure Nisha can get power runes, I guess.
It's a big deal for this Ember. That is not an idle rune.
Yutoro's like, yeah, you saw what happened last time with that Sunder. You better run, Boxy. You better get on out of here. Yep, that's going to be another Sunder to bring down Boxy again.
Yutoro continuing to feast on the souls in this game. These are all hook shots on an Aegis, so you can't even really commit. Hurricane Pike done for the Drow as Zai pushes towards that Butterfly. These are going to be the big windows for Liquid to strike back in this game after this Aegis expires and try and push towards that next Roshan.
Yeah, but it feels like their net worth has been stalled out. I mean, Zai's been looking at this Butterfly for what feels like forever.
It's been in the works. That's absolutely for sure. I mean, once he gets there, it should be good for a while, right? I don't see Yutoro or any other hero on Team Spirit really getting Pierce anytime soon. Like, you're not going to get a fast MKB here. You need items that help you deal with the Drow Ranger.
No Bloodborne or anything, yeah.
So, in theory, Zai can scale pretty well this game because he's just not going to be the focus in terms of dealing with him. Everything is going to go into the Drow, pushing that high ground and breaking the defense here for Liquid, which is what it might come down to, a high ground defense. Can you hold on long enough to get to the ultra late game where that Drow Ranger can shine? Like you said, tough cookie to crack. I still like the fact that Team Spirit supports continue to just farm up this map. I think it's one of the big key factors in this meta.
Nisha playing with fire, but I guess he is fire incarnate. Will be able to draw some attention from Team Spirit and get away unscathed.
And the Ghost wave push for Spirit is why this Beastmaster was a first phase ban for Liquid, why that Darkseer was also one. They just play so well off pushing these lanes in, not showing too much, and then the second you're out of position, they strike. And right now you have Terrorblade Illusions, Enchantress creeps, Shadow Demon Illusions,
spotted Mira.
Beastmaster summons.
He is no chains for Nisha. Already used it.
Seems like Mira is just always TPing out of like random baited games.
Yeah.
Man knows his limits, and every time one of these moves doesn't work, you have lanes you have to respond to. As the Brood is the one having to deal with the lanes instead of the other way around right now.
Radavatos, nice light dodge there on the cookie. Still got to be careful though. He's going to jump away. Fortunately, there was nobody on his Spirit. Yatoro's going to spot him now.
He's got meta?
Yeah, he thinks with the Scotty he can catch him here. Nisha pops the BKB just in case, and he's going to get another Spirit on out. They're really chasing him, but I think Nisha, maybe he's going to be away. The kiss it. No, the roar got there just in range from Collapse. Team Spirit, what is that? How did they have such a perfect read of the margins?
I don't, this team's just way too damn good. I don't know, this Yatoro guy, he has a different read of the game than anybody else in the world right now. The way he just goes into fights, goes into ganks, knows exactly the distance and the time he needs to commit on a kill. It looks so damn casual. Making it look easy on the map as he'll TP in and clean up a Boxy as well.
What you doing there, bud?
And now he has a full Silver Edge completed, so he's just gonna run around Invis and perhaps just set up on people. Do it all. I'll be my own initiation.
That lead. Yeah, it begs the question, like, Team Liquid, sure, your high ground defense is strong, but what if you can never get out on the map to find farm? As Mickey, he's going to have to TP away from... yeah, the big hit
just everywhere, man.
Yeah.
What? It's actually insane how much space and pressure he's creating with a single... No one's playing with him. It's not like there's some crazy train just running around behind Yatoro. It is just Yatoro. That is an insane heat map for a carry here. He has been literally everywhere. Yatoro says this entire map is mine right now, and I am ascending back.
And you can see Mickey, he's playing the edges. He's just trying to keep away from the Terrorblade nonstop.
Yeah, all of those blue dots are running away from the red dots here. He has not had nearly as much room to work with. Yatoro chasing down the Drow, waiting for the perfect time to strike, as next Roshan will decide a lot in this game. Do Team Spirit get it with their stabilized position? Double damage on Laurel. He is starting to scale as well, as he just finds some decent lane cleanup while Yatoro is making the space. Almost level 20 and almost a Daedalus on this Snapfire. It's just going to be a raw damage build.
Hookshot just required to be able to save Nisha, perhaps. They are going to go for the kill, but the BKB from Laurel should protect him here, as Boxy will not have that same level of protection. The Chain Frost bounce around a little bit more. Damage done, but not damage that is going to result in a kill.
Zaya's Butterfly, he's very
Another
strong
BKB,
right now.
in fact, but they're just going to try and kite around this Butterfly Broodmother.
Yatoro
now it gets right
in the back.
Here comes Yatoro straight to Mickey. Oh, that Force Staff isn't going to get you far enough away, as Yatoro positions himself beautifully amongst 3 different cores. Kills one, chases the other 2 away. In fact, if it wasn't for that Lincoln, they would have caught Zai too. The Collapse is still gunning for it, man.
An absolute god right now, as the second Yatoro shows up. It is like cockroaches into the night. Flee for your lives, and now he's pushing your base. They get another glyph. 50 seconds, no Drow. That was a buyout for Mickey. How much does Yatoro want to push this with Aegis coming back up on that Roshan? He will back off. I think the correct play here, even with that Drow dead. Do not want to throw a high ground fight versus a very strong high ground defense lineup. And that next objective's coming. And he just gets straight on top of Mickey, just walks in. Again, just makes it look easy here. Absolutely no fear.
If it wasn't for Insania there, Zai probably dies there. So again, the supports just giving up their lives to try and keep the cores alive. Team Liquid
And this Frost Shield is what's allowing the course to go in, but you have answers on Team Spirit, right? That's the beauty of the Shadow Demon pick. It wasn't doing much for you in the early game. It's not helping you catch the Brood, but it does help you win these core-on-core matchups because you just purge whoever goes in with that. It's instantly gone. You also have an enchant that can do it if you are not BKB'd, and you're going in first onto her, so you cannot rely on this Frost Shield to man up versus the Terrorblade. You just have to have enough damage that you can pump into him here, and so far, it has not been close as Yatoro has pulled a 6K gold lead off of this map. Laurel still looking for the level 20 talent, but he did finish the Daedalus and got the Quiver. And there's a lot of damage that Team Spirit can pump in right now, and both the cores are becoming a threat as well, right? Like, a Shadow Demon and the Ench are going to scale really hard in this game, particularly that Ench with the Beastmaster aura. It's a very strong combination. This is probably not a Roche you can afford to give up if you're Team Liquid. You'll have to fight through Illusions, Hawks, Hellbears, and everything else to find some footing for this fight.
Push through the Illusion, push past the Hawk, now into the Hellbear. One by one, they're clearing through these blockades. Laurel, interesting enough, is actually going to back out and push out mid first.
We've seen him do this a lot this tournament. It doesn't seem like Team Spirit are afraid of conceding a bit of Roche damage as long as he can get back there in time to reset and gain a lane advantage.
Yeah, when you have the vision of the Beastmaster.
Yeah, what's the downside here, right? If anything, it might bait Liquid in a bit, which, you know, I think Spirit are happy to take this fight if they can bait Liquid into the pit.
And Liquid is going to take that bait. They're going to try and take this Roshan.
And Laurel get back here. He's really far. Bots in 7 seconds.
Dying fast, but Yatoro's going to get into position. They got the collapse. Travel Roar immediately onto the Drow Ranger, and she's dead already. Another Chain Frost going around, trying to go for Yatoro. They all are focusing on this Terrorblade, but Terrorblade, he's standing up 1 versus 3. They finally finish him off, but the damage has been done. Nisha on a sliver of HP is trying to get away, but the Kisses will finally find him. Zai, it's going to have to be through him, and it's going to have to be through the buybacks. His Drow Ranger did manage to get a buyback off of some gold there.
And Yatoro doesn't have it. He bought out for Nullifier in that fight, so there is no Terrorblade in this engagement. You need to clean up this Roshan if you're Team Liquid and take as many lives out with it as you can, because Laurel, he has level 20. He's here to play.
Here goes Zai. He just dives right in. He wants this fight. He wants to be able to kill as many heroes of Team Spirit and take this Roshan. An opportunity for a turnaround for Team Liquid. The Shatter goes out. Laurel, he's going to hit by the hook shot too. And Team Spirit, their greed in trying to contest this without Yatoro, without their carry, will cost them dearly.
Laurel could not get back to that fight in time. What turns out to be a bait in terms of forcing Liquid into the pit. Team Spirit rush it a little bit, and even though they get that Drow, there are buybacks straight into the Radiant Outpost here. As Big K able to clean up the rest of this fight. The burst damage from the Snapfire is not enough yet to propose a big enough threat to deal with these cores on his own. He needs big brother Yatoro back into this game, but he did not have it for that fight as Zai makes his presence felt. The Butterfly Brood was heating up there, taking the damage to Yatoro. He could not stand his ground. He does not have Evasion Pierce. He does not have a Satanic. The actual fighting power of this Terrorblade, if Liquid are positioned correctly, they can manage it. It's not impossible by any means. That'll be a strong blow to strike here as you bought a huge amount of time for your Drow Ranger to continue scaling in this game.
Yeah, now you got the level 20 talents for him and the Broodmother. Big damage upgrades for both of them. You have the Silver Edge now done for the Drow Ranger and working towards a Linken's. So he actually will have an option now for, if it's just Yatoro trying to go on to him. Yatoro's not going to be able to carry detection, that's for sure.
This game is going to go late. This is not an Aegis Liquid can use aggressively, I think, but it is one that will get them to the next set of items and perhaps next set of talents. There are a lot of really important level 25 talents in this game. Almost every hero between these 6 cores has ones that's very pivotal. You get to the level 25 on the Drow with the extra multi-shot or marksman, it's something that could just burst the Terrorblade down. Of course, extra Sunders. I mean, every 25 talent in this game is just damn good. The Brood, the Ember Spirit with the extra slights. It's going to be a race to this late game. Who gets to output the damage more freely in the fight. That Nullifier for Yatoro was also an interesting choice because it didn't really up his man-fighting power for that Roche fight, right? Like, it's good versus some of the Dispel on Liquid's side, but it doesn't help him deal with the Brood. It doesn't really help him deal with the BKBs, and it's rare that you get on top of the Drow and the Nullifier makes a difference. I mean, in that fight, he just got roared down and bursted. Didn't really pay off for that fight. Might feel great later. It did cost you a little bit here as he
I feel like part of it is He just wanted to have more opportunities to kill Mickey solo.
Yeah, that's what I think. He was expecting the fight to go how it was earlier, where he just silver edges in, gets on top of somebody, and then you're absolutely gone. If that happens, yeah, that nullifier maybe just wins you the game right there. Instead, that fight got displaced in a way where the Drow had some range and it forced the roar, and then you're caught under this Ice Spire, man fighting a Brood and an Ember. And the nullifier does not help you in that regard.
Team Spirit, relentless on the pressure, even into an Aegis. They hit the high ground, force a reaction out of Team Liquid once again. Smoke across the map, trying to find somebody isolated. Nothing to be found, though.
Now this is an interesting pickup from Collapse. He went for the little Ancient Rumble Hide on his Helm of the Overlord. This is a rare creep to see, but it is a creep that gives you accuracy increase.
That is true.
This is something to help Yatoro deal with the evasion on the Brood. You have to remember there's a mischance on Silken Bola as well. If you land it on it, like, this is a big deal, an extra 40%. You land 2 or 3 more hits. That might make the difference in a man-up engagement for Yatoro. Team Spirit, they think about so many small things that go into these late game fights, how to boost up their carry and play through him. And it shows here as Collapse will give every aura he can, including an Assault Cuirass, into that Terrorblade. They are just gonna make this god a true immortal if they can. And it is down to Team Liquid to burst through him, bring the Drow Ranger damage, maintain a gap in the fight for Mickey. If Mickey gets gap closed, you lose so much damage. And then it falls entirely on Zai's shoulders to pick up the pace, as Nisha's probably going to be dealing with supports and contributing whatever he can.
A double damage. They leave it for Nisha.
He's going to bottle it.
Yeah, he wants to be able to have the DD for later because it's unlikely Team Spirit fight through this Aegis right now.
All right, this is definitely the highest impact DE. I actually think it's just better than the Drow here because you get the lifesteal on top of it too. The downside is there are a lot of purges on Team Spirit's side, so you cannot necessarily rely on this double damage having an effect in the fight versus Demonic Purge versus Enchant versus this Nullifier. Does have a Linken's on the Brood. Could make the difference here.
I wonder when he's going to go BKB, because at some point in time, they're going to be able to get through this Linken's. Is it enough protection, really, for him?
Surely this is a BKB game, right? I have a hard time seeing a 6 slot for this Brood without it. I guess there's a world you just tank up through something else, but this is not a hero you buy Satanic on, really. It's not a great Scotty buyer here. You could just go more damage with your own MKB or Daedalus. Swift Blink might not be too bad either. You just Swift Blink onto the Terrorblade and shut him down.
Yeah, maybe you're just trying to all in on just getting the fast kill, whatever that is, whether it's the faster damage or the blink to be able to kill a support in the back lines instantly.
I mean, Zai's item and choices are everything here. This could be another game where he tries to create some rat pressure action. Suddenly, this Brood is taking your buildings very fast.
Well, the longest standing veteran in this game, choose correctly. 18 to 25, 9,000 net worth lead for Team Spirits, and the Aegis has expired for Team Liquid, but they are about to pick up a Lincoln, so in a way, an extra life for the Drow Ranger to try and protect her against this initiation of Team Spirit. But Yatoro has his own second life in the Satanic now, so now he can pop that and try and go toe-to-toe with the Broodmother.
This is about as strong as Terrorblade's going to get in this game. I mean, you can do some little fancy things at the end with an Ag Shard and, you know, maybe replace one of these items, maybe Nullifier with something like a Butterfly timing that can surprise Liquid, but he is peaking. And especially with Penta Edge Sword, the attack speed is there. This is where Yatoro wants to start taking some names. He's going to just run into Zai. He's own initiation once again. Yatoro will start it off and try and bring down the Spider.
Oh, Desperate TP, that's not going to work. The damage, way too much. So he's dead for 85 seconds. You know, with a meta popped from Team Spirit, they're going to try and force his buyback.
It's just so ridiculous how he just walks up to people in Silver Edge and brings them down. This is not something that should be happening this reliably. It's something that has made this game very close.
I mean, he put the fear in them early, and ever since Team Liquid have been running from Yatoro every single time he shows himself. They haven't been able to put up a cohesive plan to be able to stop his relentless aggression as it continues now in the tier 3 at the top lane.
Now his meta is running out, so this is a dangerous push to commit to.
Laurel TV is going to jump in with the scythe. Nullifier goes out, but the hook shot is the response. Baki's, he managed to get out immediately with the Ogre Seal Totem, so a nice jump in and jump out, and nothing was actually gained from that buyback. I think Team Spirit really wanted to try and make a go and see if Zai would click that button.
There's no way you use a brute buyback there when you know meta's running out. But the pressure from Team Spirit, they put you in these positions where you have to make a choice. And they're just seeing if you mess up, seeing if you make that mistake. It'll be Demon Zeal off the shard for Yatoro as he continues his scale. No buyback on this Terrorblade right now as he just continually buys out in this game.
Are they ever going to find him when he makes these solo moves?
That's the
they
thing.
Push out again with the
sentry,
smoke.
A single smoke from Liquid, you going aggressive. There's a gem on Boxy right now that they stole from Aposhka.
Oh, look at Mickey. Mickey is in so deep. Mickey is surrounded by so many heroes. Mickey shows himself. He doesn't have a silver edge, and this is going to be bad for him. They try to get the Force Staff away. The Cogs thrown out. The Kisses are going to catch him. Now Boxy's on the run as well. Oh, no. Mickey tried to make a move without the entirety of Team Liquid and runs into the whole squad of Team Spirit. Now that's two heroes that do know how to buy back, and Team Spirit, they're gunning for it. This could be their opportunity to close out the series.
They smell the blood in the water right now, and they are just pushing down a lane. This drought, like you said, 90 seconds no buy. Team Spirit are forcing the issue. Insania, you are absolutely gone off the crits.
They knew the Frost Shield is an important part of being able to stall out this game long enough for these heroes to come back. So taking away the Lich.
They're just going to go Megas here, but you know Yatoro is going to go Throne. There is no way this man backs off after this. He wants buybacks. He wants a game.
They do manage to get Mira immediately buybacks from both supports here. Zai trying to use the last bit of his insatiable hunger now to close the distance with Yatoro, but immediately has to just pop the Manta at the first sign of aggression and bounce himself away.
Move costs you your entire base.
And now without the Frost Armor, the Lich, he can't hold these tier 4s any longer. Yatoro is gunning for it. He's got the tier 4s falling fast. He gets the jump onto Zai. Primal Roar, and he's done for. He's dead. No buyback. Team Spirit have done it. They get their chance at a second time at the Riyadh Masters, and this time they will claim the championship.
In a year where everybody doubted this roster, in a year where they struggled an event after event, where people said, is Laurel living up to the status of this team? They had faith, they believed in him, they came together at the right time, peaked at the right moment, and when the pressure accumulates, this team just rises to the top. They get better and better the more they lay it on. And man, did Yatoro return to top form here. Everybody on this team is so damn impressive, but the way this guy plays the map, the way he just goes in zero fear, aggressive pushes, it puts you in a position where you start to question what the hell is happening in this game right now. And I can't help but wonder if Mickey, feeling that pressure, goes for a solo play of his own that is way too ambitious for their game position. Son, you've got a lot to learn before you are at Yatoro God's level and why he has earned that nickname. And it'll be a championship for this team as they return to the top of the Dota universe here at the Riyadh Masters.
Incredible performance. Team Spirit doing so much at this tournament, showing up at the right time of the year, the right tournament. Team Liquid, once again, fall just a little short. Another grand finals that does not go their way.
There's so many little things this team does incredibly well when they are on form. Like, this support duo is one of the best support duos we've ever seen play the game. I go back to that game 3 with the Tusk. Like, the Tusk plays in that game from Miro were just otherworldly in getting these shard grabs, setting up the snowballs. Everything just aligns, and when it does, you have Collapse playing heroes. He's expanded his hero pool into the zoo. This man is not a one-trick pony in terms of blink stuns. Draft-wise, they are super confident to run things back that haven't worked. They're confident to pull out heroes first time for some of these players that you've never seen. And the team fighting, you have a 30K lead on this team. It doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
They're 30K ahead. It feels like the game is absolutely over.
They're absolutely maestros when it comes to playing out the team fights. They just seem to be unstoppable in that regard. Nobody beats them at it. And now, it's time. Everybody, please, make some noise for your Riyadh Masters winners, for the champions, the return to glory, Team Spirit!
Then you were here 1 year ago on this stage at this moment, but came just a little bit short. This time, this series, you clutch it out. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great, what I can say.
Yeah, is this how you imagined it? I mean, obviously, you're no stranger to this level of glory, but you guys are consistently the most clutch team. Every time it seems that it's down to the wire, you guys are calm, and you're maintaining that, but right now it seems like you're at least enjoying the excitement.
Yes. I mean, I think it's our main purpose to be calm down in every match, like till enemy's throne will down. So we always focused, always trying to win. So I think that's why, like, it's our mentality, our strategy.
أبطال رياض ماسترز 2023 تيم سبيريت معنا ببوشكا أحد أعضاء الفريق كان يتكلم عن سعادته بفوزه في هذه البطولة. سألناه السؤال الأول إنه السنة الماضية أنتم كنتوا في المركز الثاني، السنة هذه قدرتوا تجيبون المركز الأول، هل كان هذا الشيء اللي أنتم تخيلتوه وتوقعتوه من هذه البطولة؟ لكن كان الجواب يقول صراحة يعني إحنا حاولنا اللي علينا ودائما إحنا نكون هادين في الأوقات الصعبة، لكن المرة هذه طلعنا كل اللي عندنا ومليانين مشاعر الآن.
Where is Laurel? There he is. Laurel, I spoke to you not too long ago talking about your journey with this team and making it to this point.
He's our star.
He's your star.
And what the question?
Oh, I don't know. You seemed very eager to talk. I thought you wanted to say something. Do you want to say anything right now?
No.
No.
It's cool to win. That's all.
It's cool to win. But I remember you were saying that you were wondering you needed time to get to the point of the standards of your teammates.
Yes.
Is this confirmation that you have that power?
Maybe it's like on 50%, like this.
So you're telling me you're going to get more powerful after this?
Of course, of course.
Laurel is just starting his journey, my friends.
زي ما تشوفون اعزائي المشاهدين لارل كان هو الوحيد اللي مو موجود مع راستر تيم سبيريت، والشيء هذا تغير في السنه هذه وبعدها شفناهم يكسبون رياض ماسترز 2023. فسالناه سؤال، هل انت تشوف انه انت كنت السبب اللي انت فزت في الفريق؟ هل هذه بدايه الجرني لك مع تيم سبيريت؟ يعني في اخر مره في المقابله كنا نتكلم معاه يقول انا توي جديد على الفريق وانا ما احس اني سويت اللي يكفي، لكن في المره هذه قال لنا انه لا فعلا انا هنا جاي عشان ابدا مسيرتي مع تيم سبيريت، وهو جدا مبسوط انه يكون مع هذول التيم ميتس. لكن جاء الوقت الان اعزائي المشاهدين اننا نشهد فريق تيم سبيريت انهم يتركون علامتهم في رياض ماسترز 2023 ويوقعون معنا على الكاميرا. الان راح نعطيهم القلم على طول. Tsunami, if you could explain that in English. They're about to sign the camera.
Correct, yes. They need to leave their mark on this tournament. But one last thing, Mira, anything that you have to say to the fans who have been watching Team Spirit, being fans of Team Spirit, and now being able to celebrate in the joy of this victory?
Yes, I want to thank all our fans, because we have very rough season. And we lost all the majors and basically all the tournaments. We placed last place, but they still message us, they still cheer for us, they support us, and that's one of the reasons why we come back on this tournament so hard. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you.
زي ما تشوفون قاعد يقولون ان تيم سبيريت انهم يشكرون كل الفانز اللي على دعمهم الى اللحظه هذه، لانه حتى في اوقاتهم الصعبه كل الفانز من انحاء العالم جالسين يشجعونهم جالسين يدعمونهم الى اللحظه هذه، فكان التيم يشكرهم على كل دعمهم هذا. والان جاء الوقت اللي يوقعون فيه على الكاميرا نشهدهم يتركون علامتهم على جيمرز 8 رياض ماسترز.
That's right. Mira, if you don't mind, could you please take an opportunity to put your name on this camera right here and leave your mark on this tournament as we can commemorate for one last time, ladies and gentlemen, Team Spirit, your Riyadh Masters champions!
Congratulations to Team Spirit, your champions of Riyadh Masters 2023. In fantastic, dominating fashion, they have evolved throughout this tournament and showed that no one could beat them. Here they are at the top, coming second place last year. They just got more hungry for the victory this year around. Team Liquid, unfortunately for them, on the receiving end of the onslaught. And this game, this final game, we thought maybe Liquid had what it took in terms of the draft to be able to this game, but let's be real. This was, Brian, this was an outplay.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple for my analysis. For this series and this game especially, Team Spirit looked like they were playing any other Dota game, like a pub, and Liquid looked like they were playing for millions of dollars.
You could see the nerves were there, for sure. There were some chokes in games, maybe some bad calls, maybe some nerves, but I still want to commend Liquid anyway for their journey in this tournament. They've leveled up so much as a team. They played beautiful Dota, and they overcame their rivalry with Gaming Gladiators. They finally took them down in the upper brackets. So, I mean, with that being said, Team Spirits, what an incredible team, man. Watching them play this tournament and fight tooth and nail for every win and make these incredible comebacks has been such a pleasure.
Yeah, such an impressive, high-pressure team, like consistently just always playing well in big tournaments and grand finals. Like, they never falter, and you can just see the composure on them. I think what Brian said is true, that was the difference in this series, especially in this last game. I feel like Liquid had the tools to win, but you can just tell that the pressure is on and they're a little bit in their heads, and it's understandable. It's like it's hard to play the last game, you know, elimination game. It's the last game of the tournament potentially. Like, it is hard to play, and I think Spirit just has that over a lot of teams. Not a lot of teams have that, and I think that's why they're champions.
They are the champions, and they are taking some well-deserved champion pictures there on our stage, of course, as well. This is a team that kind of flew under the radar for a large portion of Riyadh Masters, but there were eyes on them the whole way through. We just didn't think they could level up, but as Crit, as you said earlier, they definitely did, especially during the main event.
Yeah, I think just completely a different team than we've seen in the last couple of tournaments, like throughout the last half year, with a bunch of Dream Leagues and Majors where they've looked kind of mediocre, like a team that which if you played against them, you're like, oh yeah, we like playing in Spirit. We know what we're gonna get. They might be good players, but you kind of knew what was gonna come strategically. And I think this tournament, you had no idea what was gonna come. And I think that's why they were so good.
Yeah, they came top 8 in Lima, which was okay. It was nice. But then both Berlin and Bali, first round of playoffs, which they did make, but the first round of playoffs, they got eliminated 9th to 12th, which is not great. We expected more from them, but they were just all saving it every step of the way. They were saving their leveling up for the right time here for the biggest prize pool, as they secured $5 million here from Riyadh Masters. So a big congrats of showing once again on the biggest stage that they can do it, they can pull through, they can be the best, and an extra congratulations to Laurel. We heard earlier on today, we heard Yatoro say, you know, I just really want to win this for Laurel because I want him to experience what we experience when we win tournaments. And he gets to do it here, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few teams throughout the course of Dota 2 history. I think of starting with TI6 Wings, TI7 Liquid, OG, and then Team Spirit, where I personally just feel lucky to watch them play. Like, I just feel grateful for like the shows that they put on and the showing Dota in its purest form. And you mentioned, like, they never give up, they're composed, they show us that at any point, any way, you can win. And that is so hard to do, let alone on this stage.
Yes, absolutely. We saw that they did exactly that in the final fight of our final game here of our grand finals. If we can take a look at our STC play, there's not a lot to analyze, as in, I mean, we can try it, but at the end of the day, this was partially Team Spirit knowing exactly when to pounce, partially nerves, Effie getting the better of Team Liquid.
I think gusting before, like, right-clicking the Snapfire was maybe it was the nerves. Maybe he thought the right-click came out before he pressed the gust. I don't know. But that was definitely a mistake because the Drow died there without buyback. There's also a shield rune, I believe, on the Snapfire. So I would say that nothing particularly special happened in that play in particular from the ends of Team Spirit, but we can just attribute that to their composure, right? We've been talking about composure this entire time, and we saw the difference in it here.
Yeah, I think more than anything, that clip shows what went wrong throughout the game. Just Liquid getting picked apart around the map, and just the Drow Ranger not really finding space to farm without dying. I think that clip was just a symbol of that they just couldn't really get to where they wanted. They had one good Roche fight where the Mickey ball back, they got the Roche. We thought they might have a chance to bounce back, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't really fight into Spirit when Spirit had the formation. So
they could not. We have to choose one Giddy MVP for the entire series. I don't think it comes as a surprise that we chose Yatoro for this one. He has consistently stepped it up. According to many, he's the sole reason why they made it to this grand finals via the upper bracket to begin with, as we saw him, of course, yesterday perform against Liquid as well. But yeah, Yatoro, BSJ, Yatoro is our MVP.
Yeah, he should be a model for all carry players out there, to be honest. I love watching this guy play. I love the composure he provides to the entire team. Like, every player has a role in the strategy and communicating our timings and making sure the team's on the same page and comfortable with what's going on in the game. And like 30 minutes plus, that's all the carry. That's the carry saying, these are my timings, this is when we can win. Don't worry, guys, we're down 30K. I'm going to need these 4 items and we'll eventually be able to fight them. Without that type of communication, without that confidence in your carry, these type of wins that we see Team Spirit pull out they just don't happen.
Also, the split-second decision-making Yatoro is incredible at. Like, when you watch this guy, when he chooses to fight, when he chooses to hold his buyback. I mean, there was this one game we saw them play where they held their buyback versus Budboom, and it looked like they were going to get mega creeped, but it paid off in the end. So not only does he have composure, experience, communication, but he also just has grit. And honestly, Yatoro is the best carry in the world. There is nobody like him right now.
yeah, I mean, what else can there really be said about him? I think what Brian said is true. The whole team, you can tell that the carry exudes confidence, and he just knows when to win the game, how to win the game, and everyone else just plays the game for him. And I think you can just tell that they've played together for so long now, and they just know that he's going to pull through, that it just looks very natural for them.
Yeah, and we spoke to him earlier. He was saying that his goal is to be the best carry in the world, which Evry just proclaimed him so. But for him, that's never enough. He always will want to be on top. He's always hungry. He's always looking for ways to improve, but also for ways to win within the game. And there's a reason why Team Spirit is extra scary the later a game goes. And that is because Yatoro always finds ways to make those comebacks possible together with his team. So MVP well deserved for this series especially. We also have our KFC deciding moment of the series, of the day, but it happens to be also of the series as well. It is our Colonel's choice, and it is a moment not in the previous game that we watched, but the game before that, because this third game we really thought Team Liquid was gonna once again take a win, but this fight, Effie, was not going the way of Team Liquid at the end, even though they should have been, because they had the ages, they had all 5 players, they had the gold lead as well.
Yeah, they were up so much net worth here, and they had this Aegis. They felt comfortable in their position on this side of the map, but the beautiful smoke from Team Spirit, and of course Yatoro bravely walking uphill on the troll, knowing he has the BKB, knowing he can bait this fight, and them taking out the Visage this early on allowed them to kite for the rest of the fight, wait for their tag team cooldown, and just burst every hero on Liquid later on.
Yeah, great vacuum as well. I mean, that Darkseer, we see pop off quite a few times in the Riyadh Masters, and Collapse are really making it work. Team Liquid wipe there, they lose their ages and all their lives, so 6 deaths on their side, and that moment was the turning point of the game, and some would say the turning point of the series as well. That ended up, of course, going the way of our champions, of our legends, Team Spirit. And that leaves us with still talking about our El Habib save of the day, which we find in the same series. But this was actually the first game of the series, because it was one where Team Liquid was doing very well, BSJ.
Yeah, this was before it all went south, as we're seeing the Cookie first come out in order to save Nisha, then the IO tether, then he's gonna barely survive with that extra bit of regeneration. I'm sure Crit's proud of this IO performance, as they're gonna continue chasing him, getting a little bit too deep on the side of Team Spirit, and we see what happens when like one hero goes down at the start of the fights. In that last clip, and now this time around when one team over chases, because they managed to barely keep him alive. The AA in that previous clip, that ulti landing was essential.
See?
Because it didn't happen in that clip.
It did not happen in that clip. It was also a missed coil there, but that's also fine. It happens. At the end of the day, though, there's only one team undisputedly the best, and it is Team Spirit. They get the title, they get the Legends title, they get the prize money, and they get all the glory here on the stage. there has to also be a point flip there, of course. Every first place means that there's a second place. This was the 4th LAN finals second place for Team Liquid. And I believe we are going to head over to Zai for some final words.
Yeah, thank you. I am standing by with Zai of